Damien would be open.
Pierce. He has amazing matchups. If he plays like Luki or if he plays like Guesty, I think they could pretty much crush Legacy here. But a couple missed magazines here and that could leave themselves wide open. That's my concern.
Headed in here, it's 1-1. Vatic and Legacy tied up, and Vatic is the one with postseason dreams on the line, but they were denied a chance to get even closer in the last set. Zemp is already going to be kicking things off at mid with an early gadget onto his Livy to gain the position for Legacy. The shade from Zulon is going to be troublesome to deal with for pretty much everyone on the squad. Ducky doesn't want to get close. Bilal and his Livy are single target brawlers. It's going to be a challenge.
Ducky here can't get value there against the Meg as well. He's trading it out there with Hosomak healing here, but Zemp literally can just outlast him. There's even got a mech here going forward there, tries to bring it down there, goes into the small bomb. There's a Slashimi that just goes into the air, doesn't really connect with anything, and Legacy have already 50% of their name.
Not really much that Vatic can seem to do to get in here. The Mansions of Meeple are troublesome for his Livy. He can't shoot around them or through them, but Bilal can slow down some projectiles. It's going to be the time warp coming down, speeding up his Livy's shots, and all of a sudden, there are no targets to shoot. Everyone's back into the bushes, and there's no vision on anyone.
I guess be patiently as well. With his Mansions of Meeple coming down here, and Zemp does have that gadget online, plus the Hypercharge, which is pop it for the stats here. No, just going to be going in there. A little bit too aggressive there from Zemp. Some mechanical misplays coming out. Shot one, shot too many. Didn't have one left over for the mech, but the Sirius is just doing so much, getting so many free shadows off Ducky.
Ducky, he's having to assess whether he can even go in on the left anymore. Bilal trapped at mid, boxed in, and piercing through the walls as Livy still on this Pierce at mid. He will actually be able to avoid a shot from Zip, but cannot seem to make contact with these shots. Zip is so fast and wiggly, he can't seem to get anything landed, and Bilal and Ducky won't be able to contribute much to this mid fight as Legacy count up to 100. I agree with you, Spoo. The series was just too much. Kenji wasn't really able to do anything there. And then when the Shades did make it through over to mid, they were too challenging for Pierce to deal with. But the Mansions more than anything else, it seemed like there was not really much that Vatic could do around them.
Yeah, they only had Pierce, right, as a long-range brawler here. And, I mean, I don't even say as Livy played bad there. Landed so many shots down to Zen, so many supercharged shots as well. But this is the power of the mech. There's so much staying power. Look, he can just take one shot over there, easily over there, goes back into the small form here, even takes up another tap that. That's such a tanky brawler.
Ducky on the top left will assist his Livy in pressuring Zulon into a kill. Another one with a super from his Livy on the right. Now Legacy could stand a chance of getting spawn trapped here on Ring of Fire. It's a very real thing, and it can hurt you. Ducky's going to make his contribution as well. D-macking Zemp on the left side, and another super is ready. Meanwhile, Zeus on the left is just trying to get those first taps in on mid, but Ducky is absolutely slaughtering everyone in Legacy spawn.
This is what the Kenji was intended to do here. When he's not feeding the Sirius, when he's able to shine there with these sashimi slashes, it is capable of staying alive. There is no rage quit there out from Zulon with a hypercharge there from Ducky. He's going to get so much value. Now running it down with a second sashimi slash there. But in the mid, Zulon tries to clap back there onto as Livy, hoping a second hypercharge there just to stay alive.
Zulon now hypercharge, supered onto the right side where he's able to walk on water. It's fine. You know what? Vatic say, we'll just keep on spawn killing the rest of your team. Ducky is up in Meg's face, and on the left side, Zeus is on his last legs. It's 15% to go in one final shot for Legacy to attempt to push in, but it's going to be completely stymied from Vatic. Yet another team kill to finish off game number 2 and equalize our third set.
It all just came down to that early game, as I said. If they can de-mech Zemp cleanly for the first time, if Ducky on this Kenji can just get into the back lines, bypass that one slow that Sirius has, and dive the backline, dive the Meeple when he doesn't have any of these abilities online. Remember, there's no rage quit to stop this Kenji. So even though he does a lot of damage, he can heal out most of it and basically out-sustain this entire comp.
It's a trade-off that you make. Zulon is going to have to trade those close quarters defenses for the long range and large area control. So far, it's worked out quite well. Zeus wins the 1v1 on the left side, pushing back Ducky, but he still has to be mindful of the gap that he keeps between himself and this Kenji. Zulon is able to get one tap on the left side. Zeus completely defended, and yet another box onto mid, whereas Livy has no choice but to back away and wait for Ducky to try again in getting into these left lane bushes.
A missed super there from the Pierce is going to be really painful there. Zemp there though eats a big shot there from as Livy should be able to buy space for Bilal to get back in. And that's where Ducky is also trying to make some space for his team. But with Zulan pinching him out there, he can't seem to get into that prime position that he wants to be in.
When are they going to switch it up? If at all, Ducky's going to keep on bashing his head against this left side until it eventually works. He knows that Vatic can get the spawn trap if he's just able to position himself on the left. Or maybe if his Livy gets a big kill on mid, but Zemp's shield is going to keep him alive for a moment longer. Ducky now decides, this is the opening. I'm going over to the right side, and Zemp is waiting to use his super as a result. Perfect timing for Zulan to box on the right side and get piercing damage through the obstacles. Bilal also falls, and his Livy is the last one standing for the roster until Ducky spawns and tries yet again to interrupt this left lane.
As Livy just literally running in with 150 health, knows he's got a range advantage. A big Pierce super will go out to regain some semblance of control here. But with this mech coming back online and the Manchester people, once again, beautiful catch there onto Bilal. Ducky's gonna just run it down here to try and keep his teammates in this game. But that's such an easy toolbox for the mech to rebuff.
As Livy needs to hit some shots here, 9% to go. Legacy staying alive. Zemp popped out of the mech, but he's got the jukes just straight lining over to the right side. Zeus tries to walk in, and Zulan wants to do the same. He's going to be alive by a sliver of HP, and Bilal cannot shoot through these walls. Zulan just needs to dip his toe onto the point, but he'll let Zemp do it instead because it's just easier that way. Set number 3, headed the way of Legacy. Could they once again deny a team entrance to LAN at the 11th hour?
One more set will do it. Zulan could be the ultimate kingmaker here in NA. He'll send Bobby prematurely there to the LCQ without much of a fight here. And Vatic, man, I mean, this comp coming in there, there's some promise. I mean, we saw in game number 2 when it really went pretty perfectly for them, demecking Zemp early, getting Ducky in the backline. There's some promise, but afterwards, I mean, they just ran the same comp the second time. It didn't hit anything.
Getting Ducky in the backline, that's the key word. They managed to do so in game 2 and game 3. How often did Ducky die?
Yeah.
They controlled him so well, as you put it, Reddy. He just bashed his head into that left lane, was taken out by Zeus and Zulan, pinching time and time again. I would love to see the kill-death ratio here of the brawler right now.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see for Ducky specifically, just because, again, he only had to break through one time in order to make it work, but Zulan was ready by getting some shots in from the mid lane. He was really quick and smart with the rotations. Zeus, also, you got to give kudos to this guy because he was the playmaker for his tribe squad last year, and he comes onto this team as well. He's able to play this delicate matchup with Sirius versus the Kenji quite effectively, pushed him back a lot of times, and the shades that resulted from it got a bunch of pressure on the point too.
If only they had Chassis. I'm just kidding. I don't think that would have been better at all. We're heading over to Kaboom Canyon now. We have a heist map. This is once again Vatic's pick. They need to win it now to prolong this one into set 5 and keep their postseason dreams alive. Otherwise, this is the last time we get to see this Vatic play.
And they're not looking too fresh for me right now. I mean, the morale in the teams just seems to have dropped after 2 sets there, where I don't know if they really will agree with us when, you know, thinking that it's a drafting problem. In the gameplay department, it was suffering as well. A lot of pushes from Bilal and his Livy just not really coordinated there. Ducky going in there, as you said, bashing his face and not getting space for his team. And now, I mean, the whole team, they look pretty demoralized.
It's quite rough. I know that Ducky tends to feel the pressure quite a lot. He was fresh onto the roster after month 1. In fact, they dropped Rafiki to bring him onto the squad. Bilal wanted to play with him, so they're very much a duo with as Livy's experience commanding the helm. Now as they come into this very 4th set on Kaboom Canyon, once again, if they lose this set, that's it. There's no LCQ, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Their season is over.
Carl could come out here on the side of Legacy. Quite like this brawler, have a pretty decent win rate with him too. Kaze is usually what I go first. She's bent out here, just so strong in a map like this one. Easily makes her way through to mid, and with the super, a lot of damage onto save. She is banned here, so not an option. Now this is an interesting one. It is the most picked brawler for the side of Vatic. Legacy picks her away here, and could just follow up with another damage dealer here. Again, Carl could come out here. We saw Finks very often as that mid-control brawler. He's out of the way, but Lumi, for example, could come in to do that same thing. Just hold down those pushes in mid.
The Chuck is still open as well, and that was the weapon of SA in their choice as a last pick here. Don't know if that's something that Legacy Esports will want to set up. Now they're going to go for that Lumi instead, as you gladly mentioned. Now on to Vatic though. They have shown Jesse in the past. It is in their repertoire, and these matchups aren't the worst. It's decent into the Lola. It does outrange the Lumi. But you know what it loses to? Better players. You just dodge the shots, guys, and just walk up the mid. Will Vatic consider it?
I mean, it's possible. They're definitely thinking about it right now. The hitability of those shots has been helped out by her projectile speed being buffed. That's why she's even in the conversation at all right now. Bonnie, the SA special from yesterday, and now makes an entrance. She'll be able to diff the range. Oh my.
Sonny got chills for that.
Hair standing up on end from a Bonnie. And it will provide a lot of pressure, but getting into mid, I think is going to be the tough thing. She is quite slow. She'll have to use a gadget to get in there. If she doesn't win it based off of that, it's going to be a slow and painful lane game to grind your way to the enemy side.
And I like it. I think the way that Vatic are approaching is they see the Lumi, and as Livy literally says, guys, backs against the wall. We've got nothing else to play for, with nothing to lose. What do you guys want to go for? I see a good matchup there. I go for it. Sonny, you called out the call earlier going into this Lola. This Vatic comp, it's all rounded. It's really, really what they're comfortable with, but is it going to be enough?
I'm so curious about this Vatic comp. They never scrimmed with Griff, even once. Their most picked brawlers are Lola and the Lumi that are now picked up from the right side. They pick up Griff. Their most picked brawlers are picked up by their opponents, and then they show us the Bonnie. Also never scrimmed. It's clearly picked that from the book of SA. Meg now coming in for some mid control here. But yeah, Vatic, why did they kick things off here with the Griff?
I think that just being able to get into mid is definitely advantageous for them, but again, you say that this is not something that they really scrimmed. As Livy said in the interview, that everyone's been really cagey about playing their ideal brawlers in the scrims. People not sure about playing scrims against certain teams, whether they're going to play, what they're going to do on game day. Everything is being concealed, and you can see that Vatic needed every last drop of that secrecy. They could be upset by Legacy. It would be Legacy's second upset of the year.
Coming into it in Kaboom Canyon with this comp, the dreams, the LCQ hopes are still alive here for the side of Vatic. Well, Legacy want to play Kingmaker for their boy Bobby waiting in the wake.
Initial interactions favor Legacy as they're able to get into mid, but the utility earned has been on the side of Vatic. Zemp's looking pretty damaged as he moves backwards, and Zulon also has to move away from this lane. He does boast the range advantage versus Bilal, who now looks for the switch up, handing this over to Livy to try and clip the shots around onto Zemp. But when this first super comes in from Livy, that's when things are about to get interesting.
Legacy's comp is purely based on control. They have to secure the mid, and that's the toughest part for them right now. They are landing more shots here on this Lola, and Darky's making a really aggressive move there onto Zeus. It's similar to the Kenji all over again. It's just a match that's just not working in their favor. Now is Livy going for a big jump there onto Zulan. It's a mad scramble for the mid, and no one really having any staying power for the time being.
Bunch of trades just going back and forth, but Vatic seems to have gotten the upper hand. Ducky on the right side. Zeus doesn't have any counterplay. He's going to look for that kill, and once again with the super to get out of the way. Oh, but Dindok's behind the obstacle. I'm not sure what was the thinking behind that, but nonetheless, Vatic will be able to slink back just a little bit into these bushes after getting some pretty healthy damage on himself.
Nerves, man, nerves. I mean, Ducky's got to chill here. He's got a pretty good comp here going into this one. Zulan's got a nightmare matchup to go into, and that's a beautiful hypercharge super there from Bilal to just shove Legacy out of the mid. Vatic now, they're looking absolutely dominant, as Livy's even got this hypercharge online, and Zulan's most certainly the prime target.
Zulon on the left side, he's alive and healthy. Here comes a hypercharge dedicated specifically to him, and as Livy's going to keep this one going with a bit more damage onto the safe, it's definitely blocked by Zeus, freezing his ego in front so as to prevent that crack. Really, really nice play there from Zeus on one of his signature brawlers.
There's still a ticking time bomb here for the side of Legacy. They've only got 30 seconds left to get back mid and equalize this. With Bilal throwing out a super here just to zone for the time being. Even chucks the piggy bank there onto Zeus. Really want to get them off the point here. Ducky's going to make an aggressive move forward there just to buy some time for the team. And with 15 seconds left, surely Vatic got this.
Yep, it's going to be the crack for Vatic right now. They've dropped this down to 74%. Could be a chance of Legacy bringing this down and then even hitting the 75% mark, but it's just too long of a distance to go for. As the clock ticks down, Vatic will stay alive in this match with a game number 1 victory here on Kaboom Canyon.
Ooh, this Lola Lumi core might have just exposed a critical weakness for them. But I also think that they rounded up the comp in a weird way. This mech coming in to fulfill a similar role for the Lola, where it's literally I walk in the mid, I have a lot of health, I walk in, I spam auto aim, and I just force my way in. But you're trying to force your way into a Griff and a Carl, it's just not really working out for them.
Carl is going to be taking that early positioning, looking for the ideal matchup onto Zeus, where Zulon was very much expecting this. Ducky just trying to absorb some of the shots, keep Zeus low on HP, and he doesn't really feel like biting. Zeus gets to migrate into the bushes as a result, and Vatic have to fall back quite a bit into this ego from Legacy. Zulon on full HP, and Zemp similarly so on the right side.
This is a terrible position that Vatic are in. You don't want to be in a spot where you've yielded full control of the mid. They get Zulon out there. It's a good pinch from them. They're stymieing the bleeding for the time being. Getting a big shot there from Bilal that almost brings down Zeus, but with the ego in play, they keep him alive. And Zemp now, he's trying to snipe Ducky out of Oblivion here. The little phone will get the crack here, and that's Legacy in the lead.
Legacy stand firmly in mid. They have Zulon with the super. Could be concealed information. Vatic don't really want to make the first move. They know that Zulon has this ability. If they can get his Livy onto the Lumi, that would be perfect. Bilal going to get stuck on the right side. Near kill on his Zulon. His Livy's going to go for it. And right back into the cannon form. A gadget popped immediately to get some damage. Ducky also with the kill. And now Vatic have a real chance of setting up an outpost at mid.
Full control inside the mid, but with most of the bush broken up, Legacy still have a shot to break back in. Zemp commits the toolbox gadget out there, and that's the go time for Ducky. Goes in with the spin, gets down one. He does fall down to Zemp though. These trades are still positive for the side of his Livy, who will jump in there, tries to get the crack. One more shot, surely they can get this. No! That 1% differential just might break Vatic here.
Vatic might be hitting themselves now because a hypercharged Griff Super could have done it, but they've got plenty of time to get back there. Still, they just don't have possession of mid right now. Bilal with his hypercharged super. It's going to be a big deterrent, but Legacy aren't really that focused on getting forward as they are holding mid. It's the most defensible position on this map. Bilal with a super forward, not going to do too much except for get them some spacing and a piggy bank as well. And meanwhile, on the right side, as Livy's getting his shots blocked by Zeus's ego. 20 seconds to go. Legacy in for their final move now.
Livy goes in there, deletes Zulon there, but they are still down by that crucial 1%, and only 14 seconds left on the clock. Hypercharges will be committed from both Bilal and Livy. It's literally a mad dash for the Legacy save. They need to get someone on it. Ducky goes in, the pickaxe goes in, a 1% differential comes out here, but it's still too little. 68% on the Vatic save, as they will lose this game, tying this up 1-1.
Match point for the upset Beard. It is one more game, and Zemp knows that they can make it to a semifinal. Zemp has been grinding so hard to make it to a grand final this year. He seems to decently often make it to the semis, but just can't finish the job numerous times, only being one game away. But taking down Vatic, eliminating their dreams of making it further in the Brawl Stars Championship season would be a huge badge.
And now once again, Zemp, the power of the mech just running in there, forcing out the entirety of the Vatic comp here, while they're desperately trying to get this lane swap online. They're waiting for Ducky to get back flying hook, waiting for his Livy to get the jump. He does have it now, but Ducky prematurely going in once again. Gets one though, maybe spoke too soon here, gets another there with the pinch from Bilal. And that's full control for Vatic, much better for them in game 3.
Really nice. Bilal also finding the angle to get a couple of projectiles from each barrage onto the safe. He knows exactly how he plans on doing maximum damage with the Griff onto the safe. Now Vatic sinking into a comfortable position. Some of their bushes have been broken open, so it's not as easy to defend as it would have otherwise, but they do have some utility. They have a hypercharge and super for Ducky, Bilal with the super of his own. They want to get forward though. 9% is not going to cut it.
And an interesting choice there. They're opting not to break that central wall. That's something that they're doing differently here. That does leave only 2 choke points on the map. It makes it easier to control the pathway into the mid. Zemp will still be able to force his way in just by virtue of how much health he has. But Bilal's immediately there, just committing the super, zoning them out. Vatic, they have a very, very small lead right now, but as long as they control the mid, they will have this one in the bag.
Vatic look really healthy on HP. They have a couple of hypercharges right now. If Legacy make the first move, Vatic are ready to punish. Zemp's going to get his mech back on full HP pretty soon as Livy on the right side with the Hypercharge stun onto Zeus. And Ducky knows that it's his signature time to move. On the right side, looking for a kill versus Zip. In close range, will be able to snag it. Has a super to rotate away from Zeus. Meanwhile, on the left side, Zulon's making a desperate push in. And as Livy doing as much as he can to defend, will be able to pinch alongside Bilal. The Brawl now moves back to mid once more as Livy with the super aggressive push on the right side actually rings true. And the last-ditch effort from Legacy is going to be getting a Hypercharge in from Zimp. He will get his super back while in the Hypercharge, but 20 seconds, that's not enough wiggle room.
They need 20 seconds to get a full crack of the save here, plus a little bit more, but Bilal answers Zulan immediately there. A snipe there onto Bilal. You can see the nerve there from Vatic. They're literally throwing everything at the kitchen sink. Tries to get down Zeus. They're just running bodies, running down the clock, running down the time. Hypercharges there from Bilal. 5 seconds on the clock, and Legacy do not mathematically have a way to claw back this one. We are going to a set 5, ladies and gentlemen.
One more to decide it all, and for deciders, it's the one map that no one chose, a random one. It's going to come down to everyone's general preparation here in Brawl Stars. We will see how it turns out, but man, what a finish.
And what did Livy say earlier? He said, can we please not go to set number 5? Like he said, my heart can't take it. Look, my heart on this desk can't take it. Poor guy grinds so hard. Yeah, well deserved. Take a sip of water. That the whole team, please stay hydrated.
He knows
here.
ball.
He knows ball, yeah. I mean, for sure. That's a well-deserved sip. But this is what I want to see from a team that's been behind this entire set. You're now going into this set number 5. Yes, it's nobody's map, but surely, with all the pressure on your back, you need to convert that, turn into a diamond in this moment and go into that set 5 with some confidence.
In the interviews, as Livy mentioned something so interesting, the region seems to just not scrim. They do not want to give away any secret picks. And I can confirm that. I actually saw that, for example, Tribe Gaming, who had almost 600 scrimmed sets, 580 or something in the previous months, is now on 230. Not even Tribe Gaming is getting the scrims they usually want to have. It's really, really interesting how KT everybody is. And then I look at what those two teams have shown us in scrims. And once again, Vatic's most picked brawlers are Lola and Lumi. Both of those have been picked up by their opponents. They're like, are you actually scrimmed? So we're going to steal your brawlers. The thing is, if you play this comp very often, you also know the weaknesses, and they abuse those.
Yeah, the Bonnie was, again, pretty heads up. It was, yeah, once again, brandished so frequently in South America to kind of like occasional success, I would say. And it was used beautifully here. Just a brawler that's been off meta for a very long time, still in his Livy's repertoire. It got him victories versus the Lola on the right lane versus a brawler that Zeus is really well accustomed to. So you're watching high-level Brawl Stars right now, folks. If there were any question about it, but it's going to get more dire. We're moving into Out in the Open for the 5th and final map. Everyone gets one life. The consequences are serious too. It's postseason on the line.
Hence my goosebumps, by the way. I just loved seeing that come full circle. Bonnie, the brawler that we mentioned so often as the SA special, now picked up also by Vatic in a very desperate time where they really need to lock that set down.
Half the Water Walkers immediately banned out there by Vatic. They are cooking something. I've not seen an Ali ban here in Out in the Open in ages. I mean, the Angelo and the Naja bans are a little bit more characteristic for them. And me on the side of Legacy, they surprisingly took out the kit here. I think they respect the combination of this kit Lou a little bit much here, but that does leave Vatic's very comfortable first pick here in the form of that Byron.
Byron's comfortable, but it has counters. I still see the potential for Piper to be picked here as a response, as we observed a lot yesterday. I think Berbao had particular trouble as he was two-tapped repeatedly by a Piper, who's in the conversation right here. It's not going to have that cozy 8-bit matchup that it could go into. You can see that Legacy actually decided that they don't want to play into Brock, but you can't just ban Brock. You also got to get rid of 8-bit at the same time because no Brock makes 8-bit way too good. So they've gone for a big commitment with their bans. Pearl's going to be taken away as a possible combination for this Byron also.
Would have also been my shout here with Brock out of the way. It's the best possible option to break open those walls still to get an easier pathway into mid, at least in round 2 and 3. Piper coming out, as you already mentioned. Really good answer here to the Byron. Just the better sniper when it comes down to pure 1v1. Byron, of course, offers a lot more support for the other strong brawlers in the comp though. Let's see what these brawlers will be.
I don't know if Ruffs is going to be in consideration there for Vatic. Just get bags on the ground there to really deal with this Piper. There's also this little bolt consideration that both teams are still thinking about. Is it good here in out in the open? I don't know. Technically, it does function as a decent wall break for yourself. You can break open your own walls inside your base, enable the Piper there. It's a cheeky last pick if Vatic don't have the damage to deal with it. And this Eve, it's so old school. It feels like as Livy's leaning back into the good old days almost, banning out Water Walkers and just thinking that it might be enough. I don't know. I haven't seen Eve win in a very long time.
Breakdown, spin
Just
down.
don't put the hatchlings on the spring pad, and we'll all be fine.
Don't send your kids to space, folks.
We have seen it before, everyone. Mina's going to be cranking up some of that momentum. Also, she'll be getting some early game pressure, probably throwing down that bubble shield that the rest of her team can play around. We'll see if it's enough to keep Legacy inside their own spawn. Zeus is going to be ready with the Pearl for as soon as it breaks down, but he should be able to establish a bunch of positioning. I'm a little concerned in the damage department, however. Does this look boltable?
It
Yes.
does indeed.
Okay.
And there he is. I was thinking the same. The comp of Vatic is just, missing
Just
damage.
look at my face. Like, I'm like...
Can't really deal with that bolt at all, unfortunately. They do have the Eve who
One
can
stun.
dodge him on the water, right? But yeah, the Baron is going to struggle. The Mina, I guess, is fine if she can dodge out of the way, but they can't take him out.
And it changes the clock.
In this one, if the Spike is drafting, that little plushie for Vatic, I'm sorry, you had better drafts than this, but hey, Vatic, lock in. Last chance for your ticket to the postseason. You get to go to LCQ if you make it through this match.
And such a grueling game mode to finish things off as well. Knockout, ridiculously punishing. If you're the first one to fall on your team, you've practically doomed them to a lost round. A 2v3 is difficult to win here in Brawl Stars. And Legacy already have the bolt up and running. He's doing circles around the back left. Ducky wants to help out with his pinch onto Zeus, and Zulon's ready for the 2-tap. It's going to be an attempt at an escape from his Livy. Only a drive-by, and that's the tap from Zulon onto Bilal. This is dropped to a 2v3, and Legacy have the advantage.
Let me break it down for you folks. On the side of Vatic, with this bolt coming online, they wanted to play a much slower game, get the Eve pats online, and then maybe just chew them out inside the end game. But once the bolt is out, they basically have no way to win the end game. When the map closes in, this bolt at max speed will definitely chew a hole through this Byron, through this Eve. That is why you're seeing Vatic play so aggressively there. It's not an intentional effort there to feed or anything. This is what you mean. You see the bolt just rolling over his Livy. He can even jump out of there, but you're jumping into the path of roadkill there. And is this really the way that Vatic are going to lose their shot at LCQ?
It was really well timed by Zemp, by the way, because he knew that Eve couldn't jump back. She'd be going into the poison. And he did also, admittedly, escape with just a shred of HP. Hatchling's going to go down. Should get a little bit of position for Vatic. Zulon and Zeus have to shrink back, but everyone from Vatic needs to conglomerate together because they have to put together enough DPS to deal with Zemp, who has a super, by the way. A super from Bilal wouldn't be able to change the outcome of that 1v1.
A caller here that Zulon does not have any protection there. He is using the homemade recipe plus the ambush. So this is the most sneaky Piper that you can do. And it makes sense there. Combining that with a bolt run over could be a kill. Now, the question is, who is the target there on Legacy that Vatic have to push into? They're currently looking at Zeus, trying to get him down through this Byron matchup. Big jump there from Zemp, though. Is it a little bit too overzealous there? A freebie there for Bilal.
And well done from Ducky with the super down to keep Bilal alive alongside getting the kill onto Zemp. Zulon and Zeus going to get crunched around the top right. And this should be an opportunity for everyone to farm up their supers from Vatic. They're looking pretty good right here. An Eve Hypercharge is going to push back this Piper so much as Livy pops it immediately. And they're going to try and punish right off the bat.
Yeah, they know that they do not want to get into an endgame against this pull, against this ball. Hatchling's going to be going out there. Zemp might just sacrifice himself to roll in there once again. They've gotten so much positional advantage here going inside the base here. Zemp almost blocks himself to space there, but Zulon really pops the hypercharge there. But Darky spies one there onto Zeus, tries to get him down low with the hypercharge. It's a nice position for Vatic, but no advantage garnered just yet.
Yeah, Ducky might be wishing that he actually had that super for when Zemp pushes in. He has the hypercharge for Bolt, which means that he'll be able to go through walls on the right side. Bilal gets a huge pick. Zip knows it's go time. In with the hypercharge and super. Ducky reduced to low HP, but not down and out just yet. And Zulon's ready with a homemade recipe that's not going to go anywhere. Everyone from Vatic fell back. That ambush wasn't going to make any impact. It slowed down once more, but in the 3v2, this one is Vatic's to win. They just got to get a couple more kills here to go on to match point. And Zemp is rolling away. Zulon backing into the back left corner. He doesn't have a play here. A hypercharge out for Bilal. And yes, in fact, we are going to match point for Vatic.
Thank you, Zemp. Thank you for not being the world's best Bolt.
Crazy.
It's not infallible.
Crazy.
I mean, Legacy, let's be real here. This comp from them, it is brilliant on their regard. It is absolutely brilliant. But Vatic are the one, as Sunny called out, they've really got to lock in. And I love the fact that they're punishing these mistakes. The moment that Legacy makes the slightest of missteps, the slightest of openings, Vatic just chew on it and go in all the way. In that previous game, it was them just feeding a freebie for them. A hypercharge converted down the line into pressure in that second and third round, net them the win. Will it happen again here, though?
It's quite Bolt-centric story here for Legacy, as Zemp needs to be their playmaker, but also Zulon can get an upset pick as an individual. Vatic are going to contribute Bilal quite confidently into the bushes. Around the right side, Zoom's ready to punish with a gadget. Bilal just dashes forward, had that super ready for Zemp, didn't manage to get the stun, but the deterrent is all that mattered in the end. A 3v2 for Vatic.
Legacy still the villain here in the matchup. Vatic, our main characters of today, could still play for the last chance qualifier. And to win this round, they would be one step closer in doing so. Zemp will still attempt to try and play spoil spot, though, but 1 versus 2. He gets one there, burning it down. It's a dicey endgame. Zeus 1 versus 2. He's been in situations like this before here, but with 2 members pinching from there, no chance for him. He's got to yield to the smoke here, concede the round. Vatic can smell it, they can taste it. They just might get out of this one.
Need to eke past Legacy or become their food, their second upset of the year. Match point. One more round is all that they need, and Zemp has a super. He's ready to open things up. Zulon would love a gimme to start things off as Livy with the jump away, but no way to escape from Zemp now. Tossed up in the air, and it's a beautiful response from Vatic. 3 versus 2. Legacy have Zeus with his super on the right side, and Zulon would love to back into these bushes to make use of the ambush once more, but he cannot afford to give it the room.
Vatic are so close here. It's a 2 versus 3. You can see the call there made by Azlivi saying, chill, play it slow, play it slow. Don't get too aggressive there. Bilal's got a hypercharge. Ducky has got a super. I have a super myself. The end game is coming. The end game is nigh. The only way that Zeus wins here is with the taps of his lifetime here. And with this hypercharge coming online, I don't think he has it.
Hatchlings in, Ducky and Bilal swarm alongside all of these space fleas. Zeus has no choice but to back away, and Zulon already knows that it's over. Celebrations out from Vatic as they have once more secured their way to a semi-final. Postseason is alive. They're ahead of KDS now. Now it's your turn, KDS. Win your quarterfinal. We'll see if these two go toe-to-toe in the semi-finals across different halves of the bracket.
What a way to finish. The look on our faces when this bolt came down, it was horrific there. Thinking to myself, is this really the way that Vatic are gonna go out? No, spoiler alert, it isn't. Legacy here, once again, another set 5 from them ready throughout this entire year. They always put us on the edge of our seat. How many times has this happened already?
Yeah, it's happened so many different times. I mean, I don't have the tally for you exactly, but Vatic, in the most recent monthly final, okay, back in July, they went to set 5 versus Team Electros, and they went to double match point. It actually looked possible, but it looked like an outdraft as well. I wonder if they can do it again. They're going to have to do it in the first semifinal later on.
So many 3-2s on the ways to the point where Slivy even says, please no more. But they actually managed to win this one. Insane. First with a Bonnie on Heist, now with a Eve on Knockout. Brawlers that we haven't seen in ages, Boo.
Old school is the way. You got an old school. Is he old at this point? Can we call Azlivi old school? I mean, he still looks beautiful, still looks young. I think he's one of the most handsome players I've ever met.
No, he's not old.
He's not?
He's not old.
He's not old? He's not you.
I'm not old either. Neither of us are old,
I want to say, this last set, once again, goosebumps all over. Absolute cinema. It was beautiful to watch. I absolutely loved it. Thank you, Vatic, for that. I'm sorry that you had to go through another 3-2. Also, huge GG's here to Legacy. Once again, a top 8 finish for them. But what a run from them still. Really good year. I hope none of them is retiring, that we still get to watch them next year.
I mean, it is Zeus and Tyrant, who've been around for quite some time. I think disappointing not to see them part of the postseason at large, but changing of the guard. We see teams like Electros here, players like Zamp especially showing some promise. So hopefully the veterans like Zulan and co are around next year to lead the youngsters into the future.
Now, because we got to see some crazy plays, because we have one of the first 3-2s in a while, outside of Vetic matches, actually, we didn't have 3-2s in the NA for quite some time, and because it's the final weekend, I want to press the button.
Okay.
You want to help me?
Can you even reach it?
Let's do it together. I can lean over, it's fine.
I have to do my leg thing.
200 points for everybody on event.brawlstars.com. If you haven't finished the reward track just yet, we have some beautiful rewards for you at the very end. One that looks like ready, if you know what I'm talking about, so you better want to get it. Now, let's have a look at our predictions. We all keep right here so far. It came close in that quarterfinal number 2, though, if I'm honest.
I mean, we did, I think, in the pre-show mention that that's a danger matchup for Vatic. It's a potential upset. So, okay, we're all intact so far, and I don't think any of us are going to diverge in this next game. We all feel confident in Tribe. It's that last quarterfinal 4, which is extremely contentious and extremely dangerous for KDS.
KDS, they can still make the LCQ. Remember, folks, the condition is they just need to tie with Vatic. They're not at any pressure to surpass them. They are holding the lead thanks to those wonderful injection of points from the Brawl Cup. And that's a pretty painful thing to think about.
I mean, I like that there's some reward incentive for turning up to Brawl Cup here, but I believe in Vatic. They can go further.
Let's see if the quarterfinals now still are coming as close as this number 2. Tribe Gaming versus Momo, potentially the best logo in all of the Brawl Stars esports scene. Tribe Gaming on the left side, currently number 2 seed. They are locked in for the World Finals, but as we established before, becoming number 1 seed is such an important task they have today, because you just skip day 1 at the World Finals.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a massive edge to get. I think in order to achieve that, though, Tribe are basically going to have to win this monthly final, right? They need to finish 1 place ahead of Electros, and the way that Electros are looking, these 2 teams are likely to go head-to-head in that grand final, notwithstanding anything bizarre and any big upsets occurring.
Yeah, I'm with you for that. I mean, not counting out Vatic against Electros just yet, but just looking at past performances, looking at the way that Team Electros have been playing here, it is most likely that we will be going to a grand final. Tribe are very similar in that sense. They've made almost every grand final this year, just haven't won it just yet.
Tribe stands out to me as the team who is scrimming more than any other team across the entire globe. Now we just heard from Levy that the region actually didn't scrim too much, and this month even Tribe didn't scrim more than a measly 280 sets. So let's see what's that all about. Reddy got to sit down with Luffy as well.
It's long.
Now, Luffy, you guys have made it to the grand finals 4 out of 5 months so far, and you lost the last couple of them to Team Electros. Is this a grand finals problem? Is it a Team Electros problem, or something else entirely?
I think it's preparation. Like, we don't prepare well enough. I think it's that. Like, when every time we get to the finals, we don't manage to like be one team. We are always like in different ideas or opinions about raps, and yeah.
Well, now that you've recognized that issue, is that something you'll think you'll be able to correct on today?
Yeah. I think we should be more of a team today.
Sweet. And now, moving into the preparation for today, you guys actually have a kind of a different approach to coaching. You have both Relaydu and Killer drafting independently from each other. Are we going to see 2 different drafters operating on matches independently?
Maybe.
Maybe? Okay, yeah, I can't give away too much just now in case anyone has the preparation ready. Now, after this season, you guys have been at the top of the region, bar 1 team. Team Electros has consistently made it beyond you. What does it mean to you guys to be 2nd place in this region?
I think it's like a good achievement, but I don't satisfy myself being 2nd. Like, I want 1st place.
Keep in mind here, those 2 are also roommates, Reddy and Luffy, and even towards his own roommate, they're being so secretive. So what we see here in scrim stats, this region barely scrimming this month to not give away any secret strategies or picks, it also shows in our interview.
I think Reddy ate his takeout fridge.
Yeah, I think there's something going on between them. I think he doesn't want to give
him... replace the toilet paper roll.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you room with Reddy. I mean, I had 7 days experience that this week. I can't imagine what Luffy goes through.
We're looking at the maps now. Momo got to pick first. They're going with Pinhole Pond yet again. A Brawl Ball map first. Open Business, Layer Cake out in the open. A couple of those maps that we've seen already quite often today. We have some favorites here. Out in the open seems to be a map that this region really likes. Kaboom Cannon as our random decider. Pinhole Pond, we haven't seen it yet so far. Is that a Brawl Ball map that is played a bit different? For example, we saw Pinball Dreams before. Rico was the star of the show in that one.
I still think you're going to try and lean into a lot of like the powerful brawlers at the moment. We are looking at NA, so expect to see Tribe like try and draft a potent tank if they can get one amidst this. The global bans allow Ashe through, for example, which is definitely an RBM go-to and kind of something I really hope that this team have adopted. These guys abused the heck out of Chester in the past as well. Like, they really like any sort of mid-range control brawler. Otis might make his appearance here just as a safe first pick. But Max and Crow, as well as Lumi, have also been taken away. Tribe really targeting control brawlers with the globals.
It is interesting to see this Crow ban come out here. It's not something that's been overly prioritized. Maybe it's something that they think that Mobo have especially prepped a lot about. I mean, Crow is still a brawler that is easy to draft around. And I think for Tribe in general, there's nothing that's really stand out to me about the way that they draft. They always have you set a tank. They always have some kind of control. They like to pick very, very balanced comps because they know they are technically the better team. If they just get a 50-50 kind of draft, they can win any matchup.
Just like us on the desk, the viewers are voting very one-sided today. In Vatic, it was just as dominant, but in the end, it came out to be one of the closest matches we've seen all weekend. Let's see if this one is a close one as well.
Momo, to my knowledge, don't scrim a ton. I don't have a lot of data for them here. I don't know about you guys. This month, I don't know how many times they've scrimmed, but I have like 36 scrims worth of data, so...
Well, if you think about it, Momo is kind of the retirement home of NA, right? They've got a retirement home that made to top 8. Sunny is an up-and-coming player there joining 2 retirees, but 36 scrims for a retired bunch of unks, I think it's pretty good.
If you say so, bro.
Not a lot of scrims versus the team that scrims the most in the region. Let's find out who comes out on top. Pinhole Pond is our first map. Very bushy map. It's all about mid-control. The retirement home plus Sunny here on the right. Best logo in the scene versus Tribe Gaming, who's fighting to get that #1 seed coming into the World Finals. As we already talked about stats, I also want to point out that Momo haven't scrimmed a lot. This is one of their more scrimmed map, and it's a red blanket. They haven't won it even a single time.
Well, it's a low sample size. I have 2 scrims to record for Momo on this map. One thing, though, that I've seen Tribe... Oh, 3? Okay, thank you, 3. I've seen Tribe go for the Clancy on this map. A brawler who excels in the longer game. Clancy and Griff. Griff being banned out by Tribe here, though, and they still opt to bring the Mo in, something that I haven't really seen them dabble with as much recently.
Yeah, they have 2 brawlers that are very, very tribe-centric on this map. Mo is one of them, and Clancy is the other one that you mentioned. In this case, they did trade it out in the qualifier, so this time I think they usually never pick it together. This is going to be the RBM brawler of choice here. Usually you will see him go on something like an Ashe here, but whenever they pick up the Mo, they kind of just have it functioning as a pseudo-tank. Yeah, Ashe is going to be picked up here, so I think that's going to yield that Mo over there to be Luffy's brawler here on the team. It's a very tribe flavored comp that I'm seeing.
Yep. Ashe, obviously in the hands of RBM, is going to be fun to watch. See how we round this composition out a little bit further here now on the side of Momo, which I suspect means Mo Money. Less scrims, Mo Money. That's the full team name.
Sure. I mean, if they win the grand final today, they still got a significant significant amount of cash for their accounts, I guess. But not playing for the postseason spot themselves, they can still play spoiler here for Tribe Gaming. Again, they want to reach that seed 1 to skip the first day of the competition at the World Finals. Just watch the others draft. Rico coming in alongside DMs here. Again, for me, Pinel Punt is all about mid control. I love the Rico on lane. I like DMs on mid. Really decent draft so far. Lack a bit of range, but on the other side, with the Mo and Ashe, they don't really have to be too concerned about that. I would like to see something like a Meeple, I wanted to say, come in here with a bit more range. Otis, now another brawler just catered towards keeping Ashe under control.
This is something that Momo, I've been having two retired players. They don't really have a lot of new tech when it comes to brawlers. And that's why I think they lean back to very comfortable things like a very back in my day style of comp here, right?
That's true.
You've got Ems here that's been buffy to the moon. You've got Rico who's buffy to the moon. But fundamentally, the brawlers haven't really changed that much. They both answer this Ashe. It's literally 3 brawlers that are hating on this Ashe. 3 anti-tanks there. And it does leave that Meeple open there for Tribe. I was a bit worried about how they're going to break into the mid, but Mansions of Meeple where there's no wall break is absolutely deadly to play into.
I wondered if they were going to consider bringing a Poco last pick in here just to really help the Ashe out, especially against like the stopping power of Otis. But I think Meeple's really quite effective here. Someone who can break those, or basically, clog up those sight lines for the Rico and also potentially, catch people out and leave an open goal with that Mansions of Meeple. It's such a skill-expressive strategy on this map, but if you can isolate your opponents away from their defensive goal, it can be really hard for them to respond.
For Tribe Gaming, this is the last chance at making sure they are the true #1 seed of the region. They need to make it further than Team Electors, so at least now pull up and get semifinals, just like Team Electors already did in quarterfinal #1. For Momo, hey, they can still get some money. Here is on the line for the grand finals if they make it all the way there.
It's also an audition for the 2027 season. I mean, I make a joke here to say that this is a retirement home for these players, but there is one of them.
We love mentioning that. We're not that old, by the way. They're not
it's
either.
OG. It's a guy who, I used to play against and we're best buds.
Man, if the younger Sonny is in the retirement home team, what does it say about you?
That's a good question.
That's a good one. That's a good way to get us fired too as well, Uber. Yeah, I don't want to go too deep into insulting Sunny here, but I can talk about the Sunny on the stream here.
I think he's scared of you.
You should be too, honestly.
Nah, I'm him. It's alright. I'm good. I got the aura. It's fine, bro.
I'm just gonna hide behind Uber now.
You tell me more about Sunny.
Yeah, I mean, up-and-coming player here for the side. He hasn't really found a home here inside of North America, but from what I hear, he's a tier 2 player that is just, streaming quite a fair bit, looking to find his mark there in the scene. And what better way than to get that experience from, 2 of the longest-standing players in from OG and second best.
Yeah, and broke into the top 8 in the region quite often. So as we said before, this could kind of be an audition for next year. This is also a player that I would like to see again next year. And that is not just because of the name. Obviously, I'm a bit biased here.
Sunny.
Sunny Y?
Sunny Y is good. Yeah,
Sunny Y.
We go with that. Let's jump into Pinhole Punt, folks. It's Momo on the red side. Tribe on the blue side with the Mo in the mix. Diego Gamer takes early position through mid, and look out for RBM on one of his signature picks. Momo already respecting a fall back to within their goal range.
Oh, Mansions of Meeple will block out Sunny and OG here, but there isn't any follow-up from them. There's no critical role coming out from Diego Gamer just yet, but this is, as you said, a total spawn trap from them, and they genuinely could just wait here for another Mansions of Meeple, wait for another opportunity to break in here when critical role comes online.
People aren't really moving about. They actually remind me of the bots in terms of how they've sort of moved back and forth very small amounts. That's because Momo can't take any risks by overextending out of their goal line, and Tribe are looking for the perfect conditions here to convert. Little helpers might be part of that, but they are going to be relatively comfortably cleared. It's Sunny they're going low, and as is OG. They've got to give that space up, and Luffy says, okay, well, I'm just going to go do the thing now. I'm going to press my super and go.
So patient there from Tribe. They didn't want to give a single bit of value there to the M's. Got Manchester Meeple committed there on the left side, isolates out OG, will allow RBM to go forward, but that's going to let Sunny go inside the mid. Second tears through Luffy on that right lane though, but a pass over to Diego Gamer allows RBM to change this forward. Should be a goal coming in here.
Diego Gamer sets up that super now. Sunny has to respect it, but second best is warding the Meeple away purely by the presence of that Rico. RBM's going to take his time. Knows that his little helpers are pretty easily dealt with by Ems. Exhibit A. And Luffy also taking his time moving up mid. It's about getting that Mo Super online to dive into the mansions for Luffy to clean up these eliminations.
Once again, Manchester Meeple can't really capitalize on it. Luffy somehow wins his matchup against Second. I don't know, man. I don't know how that really happens. That's a real skill dip from him. And RBM flattening out one more. It's just Second against the wall here. Pops the hypercharge there. You might have to just walk into these robotic rats. Pops out the hypercharge to try and drive out RBM, but it's Diego Gamer with this hypercharge online. It's going to be breaking into this base.
Yeah, the gameplay is slow, but this is definitely a spawn trap setup. Nice little friend zone there by Sunny to knock Luffy up against the wall, but here comes RBM. Diego Gamer's the one with possession. So RBM is just going to keep the M's busy to secure that first round.
It's so methodical there from Tribe. I mean, there's minor slip-ups in terms of the mechanics here, but I just want to point out it's a Mo into a Rico matchup. On paper, Rico completely crushes that, outranges him completely, but where there's difference is just really purely in that push control. Luffy's allowed to just walk up in the mid thanks to this Manchester Meeple and dominate most of this matchup.
I mean, this is a flowchart for All-Stars composition, though, for Tribe Gaming. Manchester Meeple in Mo Super really is a situation that Momo are going to struggle to deal with. Also, eventually, Luffy's going to charge Super just by poking down this Rico. Doesn't need to hard win that matchup unless Momo start to play more aggressive and full commit second best in towards this side of the field.
Second best is managing to push in very harshly. The multi-ball launcher, they're not getting value here. We'll be able to clip Luffy inside the base. They get a second there onto Diego. And there's the second best we know and love. The thumbs down pins will be coming online. But RBM shuts it down. No more pins from him and secures the defense for Tribe.
Yeah, this Meeple gadget is such a huge part of getting RBM in a position to succeed. He can break line of sight, move up the map, get Nestle on that left-hand side, and even the mute button comes too late to save OG.
It is a terrifying prospect going down to RBM here, but at the very least, it's a better start there from Momo. Big hypercharge there from Second. It's going to clip 2, but no kills from him yet. Still got time to throw out more Protestos here as they pinch out RBM inside the back. Looking a lot more promising for Momo here.
Diego going to break this little combo up, but needs to worry about OG, who can just walk it in as Meeple lacks the damage and doesn't have the rage quit to strip the ball.
This is the worry that I have for Tribe's comp. I mean, on paper, Momo have a fantastic control comp. They do have the answers to deal with RBM. Game 1 only looked as strong as it was because Tribe mechanically were just playing so well. Here, they're slipping up a bit.
Second best is looking really impressive on this side lane, though. The amount of time that he's able to basically counter 2 brawlers as one has been astounding. Okay, nice little super here. This should allow for some mid control. Sunny, though, that little buff there giving him the invulnerability frame lets him live long enough, but RBM might run away from second best. An easy score after a deadly Mansions catches 2.
Good trades there. 1-1 for both sides now. Gonna be looking for Diego on that Manchester Meeple, but he doesn't have any supers online. So that's a really big source of utility that they're missing here to take back this mid. Tribe seem to have slowed down a little bit. I think it's mostly due to the fact that Second is just really popping off on this Rico, really keeping the whole of Tribe back.
Yeah, RBM, though, can convert a hypercharged super into some big map control here against the Otis. That's why maybe Sunny's being moved into position to try and fight the Ash, but I don't want to get too close to them. Nice use of the friend zone. Here comes those little helpers, though. Sunny's got to be forced away. They have super to clear here. But now in overtime, the ball deep in Tribe territory. And second best is looking scary despite having no walls to bank the shots off of anymore.
And Meeple does catch out OG, and RBM wins a matchup with the left. It's going to allow for an open goal. That was so easy there for Tribe in the overtime. Just when it was starting to look promising for the side of Momo, they just literally dropped the ball.
Manchester Meeple warps Brawl Ball game modes especially, just completely out of control. In a pinch all of a sudden, not only are you prevented from moving forward on the map, you could be trapped inside, or you could be prevented from actually defending the ball from the goal. An ability like that is virtually a stun, and virtually a multiplayer stun if you can land it correctly. And in Brawl Ball, such a punishing mode, that is more than enough to secure the victory. Look at this placement here for Diego Gamer. Probably just wanted to force OG and second best into the corner. It actually caught one of them and allowed for an easy goal. And yeah, you got Meeple, bro.
Sunny's not pleased with himself for that, for sure. Going into RBM though, I mean, I have to say, kudos to him for trying his very best there. I mean, the Ems-Ash interaction is so cutthroat to play. Yes, you have Friend Zoner to maybe push the Ash back, get some additional value, but Ash has just so much HP. You can survive 3 taps from the Ems, and when you have max range, 2-tap him in return with the damage gear. So it's a very intricate matchup to get, and RBM, I believe, won every single interaction up against this young rookie.
Yeah, most of the times. There was one point he walked away with maybe 900 HP after being friend-zoned back, but it is difficult. It's the only way that their composition, though, could easily clear Little Helper, so Sunny was being rotated into that lane when they saw Ash flash in the super. Let's move on to open business now. We've got Grip, Meeple, and Ruff spanned out by Momo. It's going to be Lose, Surge, and 8-Bit taken away by Tribe.
And I enjoy that immediate adaptation, right? They recognize that this Meeple is just too much in the hands of Tribe. They take it out of them. And it is one of Tribe's most played brawlers. In qualifiers, they played this a grand total of 8 sets in their run here. They are so comfortable with this. Let's take it out here. Momo opened with the quintessential, literal, most easy first pick here in open business in the form of that Meg. And it does sort of block out some gray ideas that Tribe are known to do.
Yeah, they are a great team for sure, but they are heavily indexed into picking these tank brawlers, so you can expect to see Ash and Damien at times being considered. Max has shown up for them on occasion. Lou is normally a brawler they want to go for, but I think giving it up as first pick is just not where they wanted to be. But there's Barley options, there's Kaze options you can also work with.
And there's the Grey, yeah, immediately from Tribe, no hesitation from them. They're not aiming to set it up, and yeah, just pairing it up with the Ash. Percentage-wise, is something that they practice a lot. They really understand the dynamic between these two brawlers, and I think the nice thing about picking your Grey Ash into 3 is you leave that last pick to really deal with any potential hiccup that could come in. If Momo opt to go for, a thrower or Cordelius, you can punish in one direction. If they go for wall break, there's still ideas that you can do to compensate for that. So I like this order of picks for them.
I think these M's also might have been Momo. I don't know. It depends how good their data is, but quite often Tribe wanted to round out their comp with that third pick M's, just have a control brawler here to really complete the trifecta. But there are other options here. If they're worried about a tank, given there are no good picks remaining with, Damien globally banned and Ash taken away. We've seen them fall into Cordelius here. We've seen them also go in the serious direction at times, really just try and bully him for control. Now seeing Frank, you might think a little bit more about your last pick being designed to target it.
Oh, I feel El Primo actually could work here, but I don't think that's really Tribe-centric. Clancy could still come in here as their little pocket pick. They do really like it, and it does synergize with the Grey. And yeah, I mean, it's just so typical of Tribe. You see this big bullet sponge, Frank being picked up, but that's a free hypercharge, a free, did you like my impression? Free level 4 on that Clancy. That's absolutely going to tear through this. I mean, this is really a Tribe comp.
Also, El Primo would definitely have been Tribe Gaming coded. Plus, he's plenty disruptive against the Frank, but having someone over like a longer game that you can really see outscale Frank and eventually start to shred him, I think is a great look here. So you've got the Grey, you've got the Ash, you've got someone who's good in the long game, a bit of an anti-tank answer. It's a very well-rounded draft here from Tribe. Let's see what this Meg, Frank, and Ems look from Momo can show.
The way that Momo might have to play this is just to deny that TP from the Grey. The dimensional doors, the longer they can hold this one back, the better that they can perform. But the rest of the Tribe roster are just winning matchups. They don't even need the TP. It gets sets up as well, and only 19% for Momo. It's a horrible start for them.
I really would have liked to have seen Momo either ban Grey or first pick him in this matchup, because it is going to give them so much time on the point. RBM is just going to get thrown into the mix. Luke is almost level 3, by the way. That's definitely something to be afraid of, but a powerful super from Sunny gets cycled into a second. But here's Diego. Yeah, he's just inting, bro, because he knows again that time on the point matters.
And a flying hook there to cancel out Second's gadget as well. OG's been forced to the corner there by the might of Luffy and RBM, who's, as you said, he's already at max level here. Sunny will pop a hypercharger to push back the entirety of Tribe Gaming. It's a good retake from Momo.
Luke's going to go in, knows he really has a face full of damage, but the Meg is waiting for him. This is a close one. Still, the Grey super is in play. You'll notice that they're able to double super and get the shielding off the hypercharge. So Dimensional Door allows Tribe to cross the gap very, very quickly. Luffy, in theory, will be able to beat second, but maybe didn't have the dash gadget available to jump through the Frank there. It's on RBM. Again, this is just inting from Tribe Game.
Situational inting, but a good telegraph stun there from second will be able to bring him down. Momo have the staying power right now with the comp to count up to 100 here. Tribe Gaming, they had everything delivered to them in that early game, but a bit of catastrophic, messy team fights in the mid allowed Momo to just take a little bit too much on the point, and that's not how the Grey Comp's meant to go.
I don't think the Tribe are really accounting for the mech gadget there, because on multiple occasions they're actually getting multi-stunned or just heavily disrupted after TPing in. That's the kind of problem with these Grey Comps, is that it is telegraphed. If your Dimensional Door's already active, it's not that hard for OG to wait and set up for a nasty gadget hit.
Tribe need to not get fully team wiped. The nature of Grey Comps, the way it functions is you cycle the constant aggression, not send your whole team into a Frank Super and M Super. So they're gonna have to try to adapt here, but with a beautiful gadget toolbox they're catching out too there. It's only Luffy left up against second, and he should fall here as well. Great start there from Momo.
Not bad there from Luffy, trying to use the gadget to evade second best, but the Frank is just a little bit too healthy. It looks like second best doesn't mind feeding Luffy the credits as long as he's able to win that fight out. Yep, pretty high fire rate Frank has when he's down to 1800 health. Luffy's eventually able to prevail, but Momo have not been cleared on match from the point in quite some time.
70% now for Momo. They're firmly inside the lead. The Grey Comp is really far behind. They're going to need multiple team wipes here to keep this one alive. And I love what Second's doing here, holding that super, not opening up the map. It's going to allow Momo to get an easy retake with Sonny, the Hypercharge leading, start pushing the whole Tribe Comp back as they take more and more of the zone.
Young Sonny's having a pretty darn good game so far. Luffy struggling to break it onto the point, and RBM is straight up being chased off the map by Frank. Here's OG, with Sonny being able to clear those little helpers. Finally, Tribe have their moment in the sun, but just how long is it going to last before the eclipse comes?
8% is all that Momo need. They literally just have to split up as a team walking in. But Tribe, they do have pretty good resources to defend this one.
The gadget.
On the right there, but a nice gadget from second will clean this up. Luffy with the Hypercharge is the last bastion to try and stop Momo to get on the point, but it's not going to be enough. Momo dismantle Tribe's Grey Comp and tie up the match 1-1.
And in the end,
Holy
that last
cleanup.
pick for Tribe was not enough to answer both the Frank and the Meg, especially with the M's constantly clearing those little helpers and zoning that left-hand side of the map constantly. Great composition in the end here for Momo, but I've got to say that some of the individuals at the wheel made the difference. Second best looks great here on the Frank as well.
It was a pretty decent anti-Grey Comp as well, I think, from the side of Momo. The response there with the Frank and the M's is a very direct response to Grey. You're okay to actually feed Dimensional Doors as long as you have an equally powerful retake in the form of this M's, in the form of this Frank. And as you mentioned, the toolbox from the mech gives them just so much staying power in the mid, and it's really showing in terms of DPS. Luffy did so much damage, 531 DPS on the point, but just couldn't get this Momo roster off the point.
Yeah, and basically it was constantly 3 versus 1 here for Momo as individuals were dimensional dooring onto the point, or they were coming in 2s and 3s and getting caught by these mech gadgets, which again, there's no disruption on that Tribe comp whatsoever. Let's advance here. Let's head over towards Layer Cake now. It's time for Bounty and Tribe licking their wounds a little bit here, as they're obviously concerned about what waits for them later on in the bracket. They've got their eyes on that first seed. These are not the opponents they expected to give them so much trouble along the way.
Yeah, like it's a map that both these teams have very vastly different ideas about here. Momo really likes their meeple, they like their penny concepts. So really just very old school control ideas. Whereas the side of Tribe, they've got 2 directions. You either go up with the Griff and just tear open the entire map here, which it is left open here, or the alternative is they play something very aggressive. They're open to things like Buzz, they like the alley, they like the Kaze, even a little bit of Mortis could come in here. So plenty of versatility that Tribe has.
Some of the best looks we've seen from Tribe on this map have involved Barley as their thrower option, so keep an eye out for that one as last pick. And Momo again, it's small sample size from the scrim data. They've unironically attempted to play Gigi here and won this set. I don't know who that was against, but it was a Brock 8-bit Gigi composition. Again, any kind of brawler though, that can close that gap. Expect the Edgar and Ali priority to be here, but maybe not picked up immediately, as none of those brawlers are actually banned here. With, you know, notably Willow and Meeple taken away, Meg also being removed. Neither team wants to deal with the Genie.
This one slipped through though. I mean, the Surge has just gotten so much attention in the last patch, but so far in most of these monthly finals, they're banned out or just completely ignored by the pros here. What's interesting to me is that a map like Layer Cake can kind of be completely stripped apart by the Brock, and as a Surge, that's a bit of a dangerous spot to be in. If you are stuck at that level 2, you never have the range to really compete. You do have the move speed though to just push in and play very aggressive. So Momo here are kind of hinting that they want to go for a very, very hyper-aggressive comp. And there's the Mina to come in to back up that theory.
Yeah, so much about their comp is going to be about making the block uncomfortable. Yeah, just trying to play a bit of a suffocating push forward here on Layer Cake. And something that rounds a comp like that out really well is obviously a throw-off, right? Being able to just punish your opponents for being forced into a very small sliver of the map could be quite dangerous. Still, Tribe might be looking for like decent amount of sustain here. If they want to hold their ground, having like potent healing is going to be important. Remember, Damien is global banned out, so they don't have that option. There's a world where like you could attempt to play Mortis here, dive down on them. They're going to go for Sirius pretty early on here in this draft. It's going to be their thrower pick, giving them something to dissuade the all-in, because those shadows, when they gang up on you, can be a bit of a problem.
One thing is still thinking about Ashe. No, they're going to ditch the idea completely. Just send Arbium on the Stew instead. And this is another Tribe special for them, but this comp, they are lacking a little bit in the damage department. Yeah. And I do believe they can get fully run down by all kinds of aggressive ideas from Momo. I mean, last pick for them, lots of ideas still on the table. I mean, the GG would be kind of wild here for them to go here, but like, maybe. I mean, it's actually not bad. I mean, there's nothing to really charge super of, but on top of that, I mean, Assassins in general could be really good here.
Yeah, I think like having some degree of sustain though, especially if you want to be so aggressive, and you're going to be subject to a fair bit of poke damage. Only in a small amount from Diego Gamer Series, but this is a very powerful pick for Diego. He's kind of known for that series and abused the heck out of it when he first was available in the BSC. But also that Brock now with his buffies has that like empowered shot on a pretty short cooldown that has like extremely long range. If Tribe can keep Momo at arm's length, poke them down and then go in for the kill, to be in great shape here. But Momo have made it very clear that they are here for a good time and not a long time.
All eyes on the gadget selection there by the Brock here. You can have two options here. Open up the map there or keep it close for that Sirius. There isn't anything on the side of Momo that can attack over the wall, so it actually might be a good idea just take the rocket lasers instead. And yeah, I think that's what we are seeing. Luffy's not taking apart any parts of the map that you traditionally would immediately see to break up their own side of the base.
So second best is playing a diagonal that won't really be subject to any of this poke damage based on where Luffy's standing. That means that he can get forward, but it doesn't mean that he can't really get any free levels. He actually has to wrap around and make these fairly aggressive plays in order to do so. OG there, okay, pops the healing for Sunny. Shadow's really starting to become a little bit of a nuisance there, and second best is overwhelmed on the right side of the map.
It's interesting that Momo are opting to play this comp anti-synergistically. They're not really grouping up to get that speed from the JL to really run at this Brock. They're opting to play 3 lanes, which is really what Tribe wants to do. I mean, they've got superior matchups. You can see second on that right lane gets completely tortured now by Diego Gamer, not even being able to land a single shot.
And Diego Gamer doesn't need to hit the direct portion of his shot to gain shadows, right, to build them up. So he doesn't mind if he's only doing small amounts of damage, because his super is going to be a deterrent in and of itself. Second best pops the gadget there and is rewarded for it. OG forced the double back, but look at where the shadows are being told to go. Control that right-hand side of the map, and all of Momo are bleeding out, barely able to get back to safety.
What a defense there from Tribe. Each and every member there going to where they had to be positioned perfectly to not get caught by anything there. They'll be able to push back the entirety of Momo. I'm surprised that no one really fell there. I thought RBM could have gone a little bit more aggressive to catch someone out here. But Hypercharge available from Luffy. That's another big resource. Yeah, nice pinch there onto Sunny, and Luffy is looking for more.
Yeah, this is really good for Tribe. They get to play the game at their pace, and this Surge idea hasn't really panned out at all. Second base makes a lane switch to try and find a way to get levels, to get some damage. Bro is still level 2. It has been slow going out there for this Surge, and Diego again always seems to have some shadows to cover his retreat as he falls back. Sunny is very deep here, likely to give up their life. At best, it would have been a trade, but 8-1 in Stars means Tribe have this comfortably tied up.
it just looks like Momo a little bit lost, if I'm honest. Like, there's no kind of idea that's developing from them that's creating real pressure. They've identified that, yes, Luffy on the Brock is kind of a weakness. They want to stick the Mina on it, but a great gadget swap there from him to opt to take the Rocket Lasers actually makes Luffy not the greatest of targets. I'd much rather see Second and Sunny try to punish Diego Gamer instead.
Yeah, and clearly there's no need to open up the map too much, as these diagonals are very good for Luffy. You can interact with any of the 3 lanes, even if it requires some repositioning to do so. RBM's putting some serious pressure on, purely on virtue of being hard to hit as he surges forward in the map.
They're happy to leave Sunny there on Luffy, and they want to swap OG onto RBM, but it's still leaving Second to play a torture simulator up against Diego. He's just feeding so much, and the shadows, as you mentioned here, he's not happy. That's not BM, that's just him being frustrated at this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, Diego Game is using his shadows defensively just to block the surge shots, deny, any of the level ups here, and also allow him to bully a bit and get good position. It's going to be tough to break. Second best takes a face full of damage to come forward, forcing the heal out of the Jaeyong, and Luffy respects Sunny, but might be, you got to be mindful at least of this Super. Sunny is fighting it constantly, but can't find a sightline.
OG tried to keep him alive there, but the heal was just too little too late to save him. Now he's just running it down, and so is Second. This is okay. It's Momo basically conceding the round more or less here. I mean, Second's going to be coming back here shortly, but I sense the frustration coming out from the side of Momo. They're playing a comp that they, in theory, would make sense, but just completely out-trapped here by Tribe as they rip them apart with 2-3 more hypercharges. Momo's like, can you please just end us?
Yeah, I mean, Luke's doing his best Finks impression right now with the hypercharge shots that create 2 little rockets on either side of the main one. Pretty hard to miss them in that case. And now one more elimination would end this map. Tribe Gaming confident here in a very, patient setup. But they are playing hyper-aggressive behind some of these safer brawlers, and Second Best now will await his judgment. A Protesto thrown down, and that is going to be it. Tribe Gaming, strong showing here in Layer Cake.
There was a very clear moment that Momo realized that this comp was unwinnable, and they decided, you know what, we've discussed about this, let's just go to the next one. I mean, as players, between OG and Second, OG's pretty chill, but Second does get tilted sometimes. When he plays in these impossible matchups, just goes in and he just starts, believing that, yeah, this is unwinnable, guys, what are we doing here? I want to get out of this game. And I don't know about mentality here, but going into Tribe, the fact that they've taken 1 set already, I think you should tell them that in reality, with a good draft, they could really take more sets here. But I think here they recognize they just didn't have it, and they want to tap out as soon as they can.
I am very scared to see what the stats are for this game. Yeah. I think Second Best struggled in a big way. I think Diego Gamer might have outplayed him so comprehensively that he's just ended his career. I think he's able to use those... okay, yeah, it's rough. It's rough. We knew this, though. We did know that there were no eliminations on the side of Momo, but importantly, such a solid defensive comp, right? With this Sirius that can block damage, Luffy staying out of line of sight, RBM being impossible to hit. Just a masterclass here from Tribe.
And there was no way to deal with RBM as well. Actually, looking at the comp, it just feels like there's perfect matchups across the entire board here. You've got Sirius to really make Second Best question his existence. Sunny on the Mina, his one job, your job is to get the blue star, and then you chase matchups the whole game that you're never gonna get. That was a pretty easy draft there from Tribe. Nothing really that inventive, given the fact that they had the first pick. It was really Momo that kind of just tried a little bit too hard, tried to be a bit too creative there.
Out in the open is going to be our next map in this series, and if Momo aren't careful, it'll be the final one too. Tribe Gaming have got their eyes on the prize in this last monthly final. Of course, a spot in that grand final and a victory over Electros. Not only give them their first championship of the entire season, but that first seed heading into Worlds. So a lot to play for, but their sights are set further than just this game. Here it's a matter of keeping it clean, drafting well, and so far, Spoo, if those first sets have been anything to go by, they're well and truly on track.
They are looking like in form here. The bans will be coming out, and Tribe are not giving any easy pickings there to Momo, taking out all of their firepower. Brock, 8-Bit, and Pearl. Some of the easiest brawlers to first pick it out there, but that will leave the Nausea open, and Momo snap it up immediately. The bans, though, from Momo, I mean, there's a Slither Leon in there, there's an Edgar, there's a Sprout ban in there. I hope these are real bans.
Okay. Look, my data doesn't really indicate many of these brawlers being prioritized by Tribe Gaming. But the Luffy Leon is a thing. Well, we've definitely seen it from time to time. In terms of the brawls that are available, though, it's all of them. All of the good ones, anyway. So Charlie is going to be available. Pearl was actually banned out by Tribe, but yeah, snap up the Charlie first and foremost here. You can index into a Gene. You can go after the Byron here as well. It's just going to be control brawlers for Tribe. They're going to play a really methodical game, I think.
Meatball is left wide open. Meg as well. These are Tribe Gaming-centered brawlers. But here on the open, they are also capable of leaning into stuff that's a bit more aggressive. They've already shown that Stu is something that they can play. Mina is that version on this map that I think could work. Now, they set it up with the Byron first here. They don't reveal that aggressive option yet, but seeing Charlie Byron come in, this is very typical of Tribe. They just want to make sure they cover all their bases. You've got Charlie there to make sure nothing aggressive comes in. You've got Byron to make sure you've got the range. Whether they decide to go for synergy or speed in the end is up to them.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be like an Ollie pick. Just to round things out, right? Someone to be a good outlet for the Byron healing in general, especially because they don't have access to Pearl, as they didn't want to give it over. The fact that they're banning Pearl means that they might have an all-in brawler in mind. Like they want to close the gap here at some point. So could be Ollie, could be a number of other options. I think like Mina is still open, could go that way.
I like how they set this up as well. This 8-bit and the Pearl ban really just allows RBM's brawlers to all come online. You mentioned the Ollie. Another thing that, you know, is pretty old school is this Daryl pick. It used to be the hate pick, honestly, up against Meg. And I think even against Toolbox, it is still actually viable. If you land the first roll onto the Meg, your second roll can be committed directly onto that smaller Meg vulnerable in there. And that could be the play here for them as Momo round up this comp with D'Angelo. It's a pure control comp there from Momo, but it's nothing that's really inspiring here for me. And there's the Daryl from Tribe. Love to see it. RBM snap picked that one. He said these are 3 matchups for me, and it's classic Tribe, right?
There isn't a whole lot here that does much to Daryl. You have the Meg gadget to disrupt, but Naja and Angelo don't do anything to slow that guy's roll. It is going to be painful. It is also going to mean that Tribe Gaming, just on virtue of the threat of activation of their comp, are going to be given map control. So it's just as well that Momo are playing Angelo, that lets them sort of traverse the waterway on that, on that far side of the map, that they can never be fully locked out.
There's a timing that Momo have to capitalize on. If they want to upset the Titans here, it's going to be in this early game. The Meg and D'Angelo have massive pressure while RBM does not have his first super. But can they capitalize on it, though? It's a little bit of a spawn threat that's coming out here. Big toolbox committed there by Sunny. And just like that, they have to run for the hills. They've got no more pressure.
Yeah, so they just give up map control because they didn't catch anything from Sunny. Sunny was going to get brought down anyway because Diego's tapped him up a little bit. I'm not going to lie. On the Lopes, this guy is hitting hard with the Charlie. OG hit, fully charging that shot, but Luke is going to be able to shrug it off and just push up with a super. And this is how we drew it up, right? Eventually, RBM is going to get a super. Eventually, it's going to be go time.
And now he has it. And now what did you do with your Momo, right? You literally have no way to deal with this Daryl roll, and they're so confident. Look at them, just sending Diego Gamer in, and there's the interaction. RBM double rolling there onto Sunny. Can't get knocked back while he's in the roll. Second's gonna be the next one to go down here, and it's just going to be all OG left here on his lonesome to deal with OG here. Diego Gamer's gonna be going in there, and a jump from there will seal the deal. That was record time for me for Tribe to just send Momo packing.
The problem is when you are first pick, your comp is going to be sort of finalized first. And if you pick 3 control brawlers, your opponent's going to say, okay, well, we're just going to gap close you. We're going to play diving. It's your control comp. This is like fundamentals of drafting here in Brawl Stars. I only have 1 scrims worth of data for Momo. I know I'm kind of beating this kind of drum, but like, unless they're like, super top secret scrimming, they haven't really tested a ton of different looks here. And they've walked straight into a classic Tribe Gaming trap.
They're forcing the issue here. RBM's going to be falling low. A great opportunity for them, and they're going to be able to get down Diego Gamer. They capitalize on the one crucial timing that they had. Sunny is trying to keep his mech form alive here, pinching out here up against Luffy. But that was an excellent, picture-perfect start there for Momo.
A pretty sick little gadget there from Sunny, just to catch on to the Daryl and pick him up. And this was what we were trying to see Momo go for in the previous round. But when Sunny missed the gadget, they all gave up the map and the rest was history. So if they can follow things through, just like we saw, they're in with a chance.
How did he deal with RBM though? He's got that roll online now. His son is just kind of hanging back. They were thinking about utilizing that jump pad, maybe play a bit sneaky here. But yeah, they don't know where RBM is. OG's gonna be falling low and
it's over.
caught out there by Diego. You're right. It's over. Pack it up there. Oh my word. It's just gonna be grinding out Sunny here. Who are they gonna feed the super to? It's gonna be Diego Gamer that picks it up here. Gets a hypercharge online as well.
Yeah, there's just so many ways that you can win the round. You can go for the Daryl win condition, or you just catch someone out with a Charlie. Diego Gamer took like 5,000 damage to line up that shot, so it should have been clear to Momo that that's what he was looking to do. The scary part is they just couldn't do a damn thing about it.
Okay, they got a hypercharge online for Sunny at the very least there. That should be some sizable damage that will go into RBM. I can see some way that Momo could potentially win here if Second just basically taps Diego a million times and then has OG follow up there with some poison tip arrows. They could get a pick off here before RBM catches anyone.
RBM's into the map with a hypercharge, and he's encroaching. Oh lord, he coming.
He's a chunker. He's coming.
Okay, OG pops that super down, needed the healing. Luffy causing some degree of issue there. It's the Naja super, most of those urns being broken. And okay, Diego Gamer did fall, but a parting gift, he's able to catch a cocoon onto this Meg. Luffy though is in a bit of danger. It's going to be a hypercharge here, but might be able to secure elimination. No, Sunny's going to be knocked out of Mech, but makes great use of the last vestiges of the Mech's health to get a gadget off.
This is the chance for RBM to really show why he's the Daryl Pro, as it's a 2 versus 1 matchup, but he most certainly could win this one. He just has to be patient for them. He's going straight for OG. That's the first row. Interrupt Sunny. That is the interaction. He's just too good. That is why we call him the Lord of Tanks here in NA. An easy clutch for him as he adds 1 to the record. Try move on to the semis.
That guy's absolutely dirty, bro. You can't be doing that to them at this level. You cannot be dragging them out of the town square like that and humiliating them. There was a Meg resuit there as well. She was back inside Mech and still it wasn't enough.
And he baited him. He went for OG Sunny. Thought, yeah, this is the perfect time to wait. He's got 2 rolls.
2 rolls. Yeah. This was the first time that we saw the very straightforward Daryl strat, which is just RBM go kill. That was one of the win conditions here for Tribe Gaming. The other one, though, is around Diego Gamer hitting those cocoons. Now, if the Charlie's picked off early, given her range makes things a bit awkward, then this Momo comp can look quite oppressive. Unfortunately, they just couldn't replicate the success of that round.
They had 1 round. They basically had 1 round to pull it off. And yeah, we're going to see this RBM Momo once again there. The fake out there onto OG. And I got to say, I mean, that's just so rough. OG wasn't even running Flying Fletchling there to get out of there. He was using the jump there. Could have evaded that roll, actually. But I think it was on cooldown, or OG was just maybe a bit slow then. As a result, yeah, 7, 1, and 5. That's RBM for you guys.
You picked 3 control brawlers. You got what you asked for, if, or as far as I'm concerned, yeah, if you're this Momo team. I think their bans as well coming into that last map. I'm not really sure like what their idea was from there. I hope they haven't given up. I hope they're, you know, willing to give a little bit more time to their run here. But going up against Tribe in the quarterfinals can be a demoralizing experience. It's tough. Tribe will blow through them.
We now know 3 out of 4 of our top 4. Tribe Gaming still fighting for that #1 seed. They need to make it further than Team Electros or beat them in the grand finals if they are fated to meet yet again. We're now heading already into our quarterfinal #4. The evening is going by very quickly. KDS versus FA Homeless is the match that we were looking forward to all day long. Could be the closest one, yet we already had a 3-2, so does it even get closer than this?
Not than that. That was very, very close. I would be happy if this game, though, was as close. This is the most recognizable team in North America going against the team that knocked them out of the monthly qualifiers last month, basically destroying KDS's hopes of being at Worlds.
Yeah, it took them down from the upper bracket in the qualifiers last month, so they have been able to do this before. And also, the race is officially on. KDS need to win this match in order to stay in the LCQ race with the victory of Vatic in the the second quarterfinal.
This could be the last dance here for 2 out of 3 members of KDS. Both Bobby and Patchy have announced the retirement at the end of the year, and KDS have suffered a massive setback by missing out on the last monthly final. Can they still steer this team into one loss, the legendary postseason run, getting that LCQ ticket? Or is the clock running out on their career and today is the last time we get to see them?
It's tough, I think, finding the right way to go out, the right time to go out. I'm quite sure that Bobby and Patchy at times have questioned whether this is the right idea. Patchy doesn't he doesn't seem that convinced that this is definitely his last outing as a Brawl Pro, but who knows what next year's going to be like, boys, you know what I'm saying? And they could always use a few heroes. But there's some poignancy to this run for them here as well, especially if LCQ is out of the question in the end.
It's true, yeah. It's going to be quite emotional also because they've been in Brawl Stars for so long. For Patchy, he's been around for years and years before he even came into playing Brawl Esports. So he was supposed to be a prodigy coming in, and now he's more of an older player compared to some of the teammates that he's played with in the past. It's
been
just
3 years. It's like 4 years, guys.
But it's been a great run. Also, I wonder if Patchy will unretire. He's done it twice.
Yeah.
We'll see if it happens a third time, but for Bobby, I feel like it's final.
Talking about emotional, Reddy did also sit down with Bobby, and this is one of our longer interviews. Let's listen in.
All right, Bobby, to my knowledge, you're one of the most superstitious players in North America. So you want to tell us about any rituals that have gone into today's preparation?
I just listen to the same music I always listen to before I play. That's really the only ritual I got going on. And I also have a lucky pair of socks, so those are also on.
Have they been washed ever before?
They have been washed, yeah. They definitely get washed. They would, especially on game day. You know, they kind of get the smell in a little bit, so they have to get washed.
You're gonna wash the luck out of them, man. Well, okay, evidently the magic has not been washed out just yet. Now, talking about, Bobby, the future, because obviously you've announced your retirement. You and Patchy have both announced your retirement. So Sans is going to be left over. I've heard that you guys are working on some ways to set him up the best possible for the next season. So walk me through that too.
Well, both in Brawl and out of Brawl, I mean, we're all really good friends. We just want each other to succeed. It's, you know, been me and Patchy's time. We've had a good run, and now we just kind of want to set up Sans in the best way possible, like you said. So that's doing good in this last tournament, making it to Worlds, showing the world that he has what it takes to be a world-class player so he can get the best team. And then out of Brawl, we do whatever we can to help him out as well, get a little bit further on in life.
Yeah, have y'all been incorporating him in the drafting? Because usually that's your and Patchy's responsibility.
Yeah, so when we didn't make it last month, me and Patchy took a break, a pretty lengthy break, and then Sans has just been all in Brawl Stars for so long. So we kept playing, and since this was his last chance with us, or his last month with us, we kind of decided that he's put in more time, he's going to get to draft, he's going to try and use his knowledge and see where that can take us.
Sweet, and also with that break, are you guys feeling fresher than usual after you've taken some time away?
Yeah, I feel like I normally get a balance in extremes, so being able to take a break for a few weeks and then that kind of just resets my mind to come back and grind as hard as I can for this last tournament.
Heck yeah, man. Now, I want to also talk about the afterlife, because obviously you're going to continue content, but about your career's legacy. You managed to achieve top 2 at the World Finals in 2023. It's the furthest that North America has ever made it. But beyond that, what do you want your legacy to be as a Brawl Esports pro?
I just want to be remembered as someone who cared a lot, who always gave it their best. You know, no matter what the outcome is, you can't control, you know, if you're going to win, if you're going to lose. But I just want to be remembered as someone who gave it their all, no matter what the circumstances were. And I also kind of want to be remembered as one of, if not the best from North America or even this side of the hemisphere. So I just, want to be remembered as a good guy, both in and out of the game.
Now, Bobby, my last question for you is not really a question at all, because here's the fact. Unless you win today, this is going to be the last time we ever hear your voice on a broadcast as a professional player. So the floor is yours. Anything you want to share with the fans and your family watching?
I just want to say thank you to everyone, like my ex-teammates, my close friends, my family, and just all the community that supports me. I actually do get emotional about it because when I started playing, I was 16, 17 years old, and now I'm 26, so half my life I've devoted to basically fully playing Brawl Stars and giving it my all, and it's kind of like closing a huge chapter in my life, and there's so many people who supported me along the way, and everyone knows who they are, so I just want to say thank you to them because I don't even get close to where I am without the support I've had.
He played Brawl Stars for almost half of his life, and with a legacy he leaves behind, an iconic career. The only thing he's really missing, and he said it himself, is a World Finals Champions title. They came second, but never first. This would be their last chance at glory now, as Mina already knows. Whatever happens today, this is the last year.
Look, I think if you want to compare what Bobby was able to do that year, I think it was 2023, right?
Yeah.
With what any other team in North America has been able to achieve or how close they've been able to come, it's so far ahead of them. And in fact, many other regions have never put a team into that sort of top 2 spot. So yeah, it's a huge achievement. And honestly, you've got to respect someone who obviously wears his heart on his sleeve and cares a lot about the game, because we're all here to show each other why this means more than just a game to us. So it's a poignant message to leave on.
Yeah, it's tough to see him go because this is going to be his last chance. We'll see how it plays out today. We have the map selections in. Homeless could put an end to their journey right now. It would keep Vatic ahead. Pit Stop is where we're going to start off. And KDS going with actually some of the most picked maps in the entire game right now. I see Pinhole Punt. I also see Dueling Beetles. I think these are at the top of the most frequently selected maps within their modes also.
They want to set up Sans, so they still want to give him a nice finish, and an LCQ would be nicer in the end than dropping out today. So for them, they need to be at the same step or higher than Vatic to secure that LCQ slot. Now that Vatic actually made it through to the semi-finals, they need to make it to the semis, then maybe even grand finals and beat them there to lock in the LCQ slot that they're sitting in at the moment. Global Bans, we already saw them. Now to the votes. One of the closer votes we had today, I must say, but still a 90 to 10. You're ready, I believe. Was it? Or was it Uber and Spoo? Two of us has said Homeless is going to win.
Yeah, I and Spoo had them winning. I think this is a really dangerous game, and there's not a lot of pressure on Homeless. They can kind of play Kingmaker or decide, like, you know, who makes it to LCQ. And KDS have fallen foul of this team before. I think, you know, hopefully the break has been rejuvenating for, you know, Patchy and Bobby, for example. But these Homeless guys have not stopped. They've been grinding. They've got a lot of scrims in this month. There's plenty of data to sort of look at. And I think they're warmed up and ready to go.
Yeah, in the end, they are the reason why we didn't see KDS in the July monthly finals, knocked them out in the qualifiers. Now today they can play Spoiler yet again. And if KDS lose this one, now that Vatic pulled ahead, they are out of LCQ contention. So they must at least win this exact match.
It's going to be a challenging one. Homeless, as we have said before, have been practicing very hard for this final month. KDS, they don't just need to win this, okay? Because they need to account for the fact that it is entirely possible that Vatic do win their semifinal. It's going to be very difficult for them to accomplish that, but it's still possible. And KDS, as with any month, do want to make a run at the finals. They managed to do so in March. It was very cool that they were able to do that. But the trajectory for their team has looked a little bit troubling, with them not making it to the monthly finals last month and almost taking an upset loss in the upper bracket this month.
One final stop before we either see KDS, at least 2 out of 3 players, go forever, vanish from the Brawl esports scene, or make it to LCQ and have one last legendary post-season run. First up here, Pit Stop.
Holy Fireball.
This is going to be FA Homeless here, and they have a wall of green, as this is one of their most successful maps in scrims. Makes a lot of sense to me that they also pick it up here. Coming in with a little bit of a wall break here. Many of these pesky assassins out of the way, playing against the Shade and Nico. Annoying in particular. We're gonna see a bit more of a range comp here from both sides so far. Both have now a wall break. Could follow it up with even more Ricos of the world, even more range brawlers here. Carl, for example, as well.
Yeah, obviously, like a more broken up map means less choke, so less opportunity for like Rico, who's banned, to be fair, and Lumi to be quite oppressive. I think it's also heads up KDS.
Also banned.
Taking the Miko out of the picture. Yeah, Lumi's globaled here, which should say a lot. Max and Lumi, I wonder if that's got anything to do with Sans' take on the game right now. Kid's going to be picked up here, though. This can be extremely impressive when it gets rolling.
Yeah, you're going to be able to play around these walls quite effectively. I think there's the possibility of synergy also. Might not be the worst thing to pair up with the Melody if you want to get on top of that safe. And yeah, that's exactly the goal. Now with the Griff defending, it will be quite complicated. They can also pick up a defender of their own as their last selection. I don't think that's entirely impossible.
They're signaling Kit Bull at the moment, which I think is going to be pretty devastating. So that's something you want to be aware of if you're homeless. You're going to take the Edgar in here, obviously someone who can really run away with the game. I don't know about you, but like the ball seems reasonable there. Like stopping that Edgar makes it kind of hard for him to win that matchup.
Edgar, BB, and Bull are kind of the only options left here with the amount of aggressive brawlers that we have banned out. There's not too much left open. As I mentioned before, we could still see a Carl as well, offers a bit more range in this widely open map if the Griff and the Colt both decide to break those walls.
Burst Aid Fury!
Buzz coming in.
Know.
Yeah, they are going to be accounting for this possibility. 2 aggros, by the way, so it's just going to be Griff defending in all likelihood against this Colt. I think that he can get some tabs possibly versus these guys, but it's going to be challenging. He will be trying to break down the walls, but they should still be able to get right on top of them. I like the matchups.
Oh, I feel like KDS are a little bit hedged now. They're kind of forced to go with the tank option here. Someone has to be able to leverage. Yeah, you've got to be able to leverage the kit. So you are walking this ball headlong into a potential counter pick, or at least some raw stopping power in the Buzz.
Yeah, I don't mind either of these two comps, honestly. Both can very well work out. So we're already in for a nice ride, a hopefully close set in this one. For KDS, it's a last shot at glory to round off the run of Bobby and Patchy with yet another LAN event in Guangzhou for LCQ.
Yeah, these guys at LAN are a different beast. I always want to see them make it out there.
The LAN Tigers, the LAN Warriors, we called them in the past.
Yeah, I call them LAN Dragons. So I kind of just like
LAN
the
Demons?
ring that it has. But yeah, look, I mean, would have been nice if they'd done a bit of that against Humble at Brawl Cup, but that wasn't to be. Here's Bobby trying to farm that super, and hey, Tyrant is all alone. It's an easy pickup.
Sands on the Colt. It is a pairing as old as his career in competitive Brawl Stars, but meanwhile on defense, Patchy's going to be the defender. This is a tough one to interact with, and it is a base race through and through, but Patchy just needs a single kill here. He could get cycled on the respawn, but he's going to get one, and he's looking for 2 onto Rafiki, but doesn't have the damage to get that one accomplished. But so far, KDS ahead on the damage front.
Yeah, so it takes him a while to farm super because there's no one there defending. And unfortunately for Bobby, the Colt is taken down. He's got no one to attach to either, except for Tyrant now, as Patchy should be able to walk up on him. There's a hypercharge. Patchy's going to be very hard to deal with. A mutual stun between the Buzz and the Bull, but Patchy's still able to get another shield knock.
Here's a combination. Sands and Bobby join together. Bobby, the kit for the squad, just knows how to synergize with Sands, but that's going to be the stun, and the synergistic play from Homeless might just be enough to get them a victory here in once more with the Edgar, and a stun from the right side. He ekes out a victory by a breadth of just 11%.
And KDS knew that they were walking into this. They knew that they were going to have to deal with the Buzz at some point. Remember, a stun from Buzz on someone that Kit is attached to is stunning both brawlers. It's a literal 2-for-1 special, and it's pretty hard to bounce back from that. We're seeing more of the base race here in Pit Stop, whereas actually in SA, to their credit, they're playing it out a bit slower, right? They're trying to play this map a bit more methodically, but look how volatile it gets when you have 2 brawlers attacking the opposite team safe on both sides.
The struggle with Pit Stop is that it's so quick to get to the enemy side, so you just have to get the first crack, because if you find yourself behind, now you have the responsibility of defense in addition to offense. Meanwhile, the enemy team just has to play on the opposing side. KDS now in a defensive position. They would love to get a stun on Ducky in combo with Patchy, but they know that they have to defend first and turn this into an offense. Big laser from Sands on the right side, and Rafiki has to be defended. 1 and 2 jumps, could get him the jump on. Bull on top of the safe, and he's able to jump right out of there. Ducky once now for his contribution on the safe will work together with Tyrant to drop this down to 50%. It's a total comeback for Homeless in momentum.
This all starts because Bobby tries to dive aggressively with the kit and is taken down by Tyrant. It ends up being a 1-for-0 trade favoring Homeless, and they've been the aggressors ever since. Here's Ducky trying to play defensively with Love, another super, and oh, it doesn't quite connect. I think that might have been a gadget activation. Either way, can't deal with Sands, but the Colt doesn't go very far as now Edgar is in position, and to Rafiki's credit, he just holds off, takes his foot off the gas before diving in, and respects the kit even.
They can keep them up here for a little bit longer. It'll open the doors for Ducky. Going for stun number 1 onto Sands. Gets the kill, and Rafiki from the sideline. A little bit of damage in from Tyrant, and now Bobby and Patchy have to join forces, doing anything they can. What a laser from Sands to defend, but Tyrant has the hypercharge cycled to get even more damage on this point. Now it's down to just 5k HP, and it'll only take one more push from Homeless to seal the deal.
Okay, that's a little bit aggressive from Ducky there, but ultimately, if your kit is defensively supering on this map, you're in trouble. Not a good sign for KDS. It's 76% place 6, and this set is about to fall by the wayside. Another dive from Bobby that lacks the follow-up from Sands as he didn't have the line of sight, and a catch pack from Tyron should almost lock it up. Only 1% on the return here, but Bobby will fall, and Tyron gets a free salvo.
Really well played here for Homeless on that last push, by the way. You have Edgar going in, Buzz going in as a distraction. He knows he's going to die, but it forces Sands to defend him, allows Grip to come in around the left side. You see Patchy doing his best to body block, but Pit Stop, it can just spiral out of control so quickly, and it continues, case in point, to earn this reputation of a underdog's team weapon to take down the favorite team.
It's like, is there a way to hide the fact that you're drafting a kit comp before you make that selection, right? Because the buzz comes out, like, this is a complete outdraft, I'm sorry. It's like, is there a way to hide the fact that you're drafting a kit comp?
To earn this reputation of...
Especially, it's clear why it's so powerful. And Tyron did a very good job because Ducky got dove by Bobby a couple times, but the Grip always hung back to make sure they cleared the kit and then started to move across the map. They just had the correct protocols for answering that brawler.
I don't even necessarily think the bus was the biggest issue. We just have no defense on the side of KDS, so they want to purely base race, but they decide to spend a lot of time in their own spawn defending instead of just going ham, what the comp wants to do. Waiting for that kit ult and then getting stopped by Ducky. As you can see here, Patchy had so many kills, but it's just simply not the objective of the game.
Yeah, I think that happened a lot in game number 1 where we saw Patchy getting all of that value on defense, but it just took a solid defense from Griff on the other side to shut all of that down. You also saw KDS sitting in their own spawn trying to get a defense before they go for offense, but they're just not geared towards defense. So they won't be able to get the comp there on map number 1, but this is their map choice here on Pinhole Punt, one that's been played to death.
Yeah, I was about to mention that as well. In all fairness, this was Homeless map pick, and as I mentioned, in scrims, they had a almost 90% win rate, so they are really good on Pit Stop. Now this is KDS map pick, and it kind of looks swapped. This is one of their most scrims maps. They feel really comfortable on it. You'd really love to play something like an Otis, Meg, and Lou is actually left open and going to be their first pick here.
I think they're giving over Meg in... Oh no, Meg's our global here, excuse me, so that's not going to be a factor yet. No worries about going straight for a Lou. Otis still available, a very safe first pick here. And Stu, very heads-up ban here from KDS. No Max, no Stu available for Homeless. Takes away some of their most powerful tools. So they opt into the Griff here, who's definitely seen some degree of success on this map.
It's pretty popular as a way to sit inside of mid. You also see that M's ban. It's going to be one of those popular picks to utilize the bushes to get forward. Griff is just really comfortable right now. He's quite versatile, can use that piggy bank, and you can swap off of it if you don't face a threat. But I think this is going to be the method. Leon will also give them access to the mid, so Griff is going to fulfill kind of a similar role to what Ims would traditionally do alongside the Leon.
As I already mentioned, they love to play Otis. Would be a great pick here, also to destroy that lollipop drop behind the wall, thanks to the Otis gadget. We also still have a couple of a bit more aggressive options open, of course. Shade is banned out, but we still have Damon in the run here, for example. He is not global banned as he was in the previous quarterfinals, so could finally have a showing today.
Kenji as well is available. We're already seeing the healer Poco picked up, and now all that's really left is for KDS to combine this with something that actually makes good use of that heal. Reminder, no Star Nova, no Meg. Both of those globaled out here by Team Homeless. We don't really see like a ton of tanks outside of the Damien attempted here by KDS, and it honestly hasn't had a lot of success for them. Sunny pointed out this is actually quite a oft-played map by them, but that particular strategy hasn't really shone in their hands. They're going to go for it anyway, though.
Oh, no.
Okay, and do we see a response of Ash? It seemed to be the surefire way of dealing with the Damien. You do have to recognize, though, that you can get frozen by this Lou. Counterplay into the Lou has also been diminished with the ban of Stu, and also the pickup of Poco that can neutralize his frames.
Really like that Damien pick at last. We don't even notice, we don't really have anything to destroy the Lollipopter from Leon, so we will have Homeless make their way into mid quite easily. But I do like the comp on the left here regardless. With the Poco Damien, they have so much punching power.
Okay, now why?
Sirius coming in now.
Serious?
So good into also
Sirius gets countered by
Damien. If you
Damien
have
and
strong roller
Poco.
on the other side, did you confirm Shadows off? Sirius is going to shine even more. Once again, I
Homeless has better
think
picks.
both drafts are fine. Both have a winning potential. Which ones would you choose if this was your rank?
I'm siding with KDS, personally. I think the Sirius is going to be an issue, but I just believe in their ability to execute with pretty much making the Damien as strong as possible. I see a couple of good counters to the Damien on the side of Homeless. They can break open walls, but they've decided to go for a coin shower, so there's going to be plenty of terrain for Bobby to play around.
Yeah, I like the KDS comp as well, Sonny. I think that the Damien wall is going to be very effective against this setup. It's really only the Sirius that can bypass it. Rafiki gets taken down behind enemy lines as Patchy's able to pick him up, and Sands has developed a super, but needs to respect the cashback in the middle of the map. Here comes Bobby, and it's going to be dragging his Keister at Homeless quite often in this game. And remember, those Sirius Shadows carry the on-hit effects of the Brawlers they're copying, which means they have knockback if they're Damien, they have freezing potential if they're Lou.
Yeah, we saw Bobby get knocked back just a moment ago. Patchy on the left side is able to diff the Sirius, but Bobby doesn't have enough HP to get in properly. It's going to be mid-1 by Homeless for now. It's going to be a double stun for Bobby, in for one, looking for two on the Tyrant, but Patchy cleans it up. But where's the ball? It's headed up towards Bobby as he knocks back Ducky. This is going to have to be a punch through for Sands as he's able to get through Rafiki. And that's exactly how they need to get this done.
And all they did was just get a good Bobby super, right? It's out in the open in the middle of the map. He's able to get two people inside the mosh pit. And the rest is history. Bobby goes yet again. This time Rafiki's going to be caught out there and will be allowed to slip away. That could have gone better for Bobby. Tyrant now and Rafiki can hold it down, while Sands is forced to be a spectator for the time being.
Tyrant pretty much wrapped around the entire team. It was like a lasso. He just tied them up in this noose, executed them, sent them back to the respawn, where now the execute is happening. Rafiki on the left side with a hypercharge. It's one down. Bobby and Patchy alive on the right side. No heal from Patchy, interestingly. Maybe they're going to use this for the next pitch and just decide to give away this goal, hopefully roll out strongly. They do have this hypercharge for Bobby alongside a heal for Patchy, so that must be the method.
The coin shower gadget is so degenerate for situations like this. Yes, I think Bobby was hoping to super and not shoot the ball.
Oh no, well that's gonna hurt. He has earned another one on the right side, and he will be able to get Tyrant pretty low on HP, but that is a win con now wasted by a little misplay. Hopefully they have ice. It's not going to get in their heads too much. With 20 seconds to go, they still have this hypercharge and super from Patchy to rely on.
Okay, Bobby's shield though is all but expired and doesn't actually have a super to close the gap, so this Poco super, hyper rather, is kind of underwhelming really. Bobby's pretty low right now, and you've got to watch out for Rafiki, who's definitely threatening here off towards the left side. But Patchy's got the damage, Bobby's got the bulk, and KDS have the run in.
And there it is. Sands with that final super to clear out the goal line. But what happened with that Damien super? Just a misplay. Looks like he picked up the ball unintentionally, or unfortunately had it passed over to him. Just slight little things over here. Nothing to latch onto for KDS. They're still as locked in as ever. And the Damien super is the win condition. They have built this entire composition around Damien. They have the faith that this series is not going to be enough to rebuff it. Bobby is actually marching in confidently. He'll be able to walk this one through. That was only 13 seconds.
Just how good is that Damien's gadget, bro? Like, it's insane in this matchup. Leon and the Griff can't do a damn thing about it. Tyrant may be thinking that Piggybank might have been better than Coin Shower if the matchup was going to play out this way. Regardless, hindsight is 2020, but we've got a game to play.
There's a kill for Patchy on the left side. It's going to kick off this breakout of Spawn. Bobby in with one, and on the right side versus Tyrant has to abandon ship, and they're able to get the kill anyway. A pass up to Bobby, but do they know where Rafiki is? Thankfully, Patchy about faced, and a messy pass over the right side. Patchy's still able to slip through their legs and clean up this set. It's their map pick, and they absolutely owned it.
Hey, if Sands is the one that's drafting right now, that was pretty straightforward, simple but effective look here from KDS on a map that they have put the time into. We discussed that earlier. They have been working on their Brawl approach. I thought Leon and Griff was enough damage, but Poco plus a tank always presents a bit of a problem for those middling damage output comps.
Both of those teams so far win their own map pick, and we keep following the same rhythm, it seems, on Layer Cake, our next map as well. It is another pick from Homeless, where they have a super high win rate compared to KDS barely scrimming it and having a super low win rate. This has been the case for both of the maps we've seen so far, so just in terms of map draft, these two teams are doing the best job so far we've seen all day.
At a point, though, do you come to expect that? I mean, if we have this data, it means that the players have this data as well, right? This is publicly available stuff. And we actually spoke with Livy earlier. He said that everyone's actually withholding information right now and keeping close eyes on each other's stats. So this would be the moment for KDS to be extra prepared for Homeless. But things did not go their way at all on Pit Stop. As we move on to Layer Cake, the second map pick for Homeless, will we see as dominating of a victory?
They did have that Griff first pick, actually 8 kills on him, the most damage as well, so he did pull his weight even though it was the first pick, but in the end it's just not about the kills in this mode, it's about actually getting goal scoring opportunities, and that Damien Poco comp, I would almost say it's a KDS or even STMN back in the day special, where we see Poco double tank or Poco one tank and then a controller, and they're still as good as always with this comp.
Setting our sights onto Layer Cake, though, that is a mode that is about getting eliminations, right? Unlike Brawl Ball. And Homeless have a couple of sort of pocket picks on this map that are extremely good at securing those eliminations. For me, I'm looking for the Mortis. You're probably going to ban it if you're KDS. Otherwise, he's probably going to run roughshod over you.
Curtis the Murtis, that is Sans. He can also play Shade, by the way. That one is never forgotten in the ban phase. All of those counters will, you know, possibly be banned over here by KDS, and it's going to have to be banned out by Homeless because it's just that strong. Yes, in fact, with the last pick going over to KDS. Yeah, Mortis out of the mix. Bolt also going to be banned. Just ways of getting that blue star. Notice that Brock is 100% in this draft. It would be an amazing way of breaking walls and dealing with the 8-bit, but it seems to be accounted for by Homeless because they've gone for one of the things that's countered by it most.
I could see the 8-bit paired up with the Pierce later on would be a almost must pick for me on Layer Cake because of these bullets that's dropped to the ground. You can also shoot through those walls. Otherwise, throwers can also have some showings here. Series probably the best at it is going to be banned out by KDS as well. They already have this Brock. They now have it in their own hands if they want to break open the map and play something like the Pierce later on. But they can also decide to just not do that. Play the Brock a bit more passively, play Rocket Laces, jump out of harm's way in case Homeless is gonna pick something aggressive. So I think it's wise to not also pick in something with range just yet. Wait a bit longer. Now it's a really balanced comp with the Surge. They have something against tanks or assassins as well.
I think like Crow is an option here, something we've seen from Homeless on a number of occasions. They've also tried to play the Penny as well if they want to index into more of a control-based setup. There's throwers and Rico that are still out there. This is not probably what I was expecting to see. The Ali coming out here showing...
Especially against that Surge.
Exactly. His iframes allowing him to... Oh, God. You think so? That would be crazy.
It's a possibility.
Surge's invulnerability frames allowing him to avoid Ali, who can be a little telegraphed in how she intends to tear you limb from limb. Brock will have to make use of Rocket Laces if he wants to avoid her in that regard. That's assuming he's not trying to open the map.
Well, if this is a Doug, they'll be forced to take it. No, Mina is going to be taking up the room in the early game. We saw a bit of cheese in SA yesterday, and it almost wound up working, bar for some over-aggression. But this alley should be pretty good here. Those walls are going to be broken down, but in the early game, it's going to help them get that blue star and sink back into their own spawn. Also, could be quite punishing for the Surge to be playing into a Mina, which he, in theory, should not be getting a super off of. He could be stuck at level 2 for a good portion of the game.
The Mina, just to pick up blue star, makes sense for me, but having both Mina and Ali, both can't really capitalize on an 8-bit turret. They can protect it, and they can use it if someone actually comes up close, but they can't stay in the back, use the turrets, and do damage far away, you know? I would never pair 8-bit with 2 assassins, 2 tanky brawlers like that, usually.
I think they pivoted for picks 2 and 3, looking at this kind of comp, because you're right, it's only going to be 8-bit that can really make use of that turret at all. Still, I think that might be enough, given just how oppressive that brawler can be at the moment. But we've got Brock, we've got Griff on the side of KDS. Pretty robust setup that could promise map break or simply withhold those elements and try and make use of their sharpshooter capabilities. But you're up against these two, quasi-tanks here. I imagine, you want to establish some good sightlines.
Bobby immediately firing down mid, knew that Rafiki was going to be coming for that blue star and tried to get some cheeky taps off of him. Sands going to take the bait. Rafiki getting away. Sands has gotten 1/3 of his super. He just needs 2 more hits in order to get it. And get that extra range that's going to be so vital for Surge to make an impact in the later stages. As they don't have the blue star, they got to break this somehow. Rafiki is firing back on the left side. Bobby jumping directly into him. They will end up trading, and KDS with the upper hand.
Sands going to be able to walk away here, avoid that damage coming in from Ducky. It's only a 1-star difference here, but the blue star has gone over to KDS. Rafiki has a super to play with, but those grassy areas are starting to become less and less prevalent across this map. Here's Ducky. Rafiki also looking to try and get forward. Windwall gadget being used by Ducky now to dodge the catchback. Patchy is low, and a lot of space is being given up by KDS. This is dangerous.
Backs against the wall. Tyrant wants to get that first bit of damage in. Patchy is going to get some helping taps on him on the right side, and Rafiki would love to be the executor, but he doesn't want to jump in just yet. Bobby's going to get a bit of damage on him, but really KDS are fighting for their lives out here. Now Sands does have a way of defending. He is able to jump up to the sky. Bobby should probably have his rocket laces back pretty soon, so there is counterplay. But Homeless are going to try and keep them here for as long as possible, and then rush in when the time is right. They have Rafiki in with a super. Is that a moment for Ducky? Looks like he's able to get it, but should be a punish for Sands with a super of his own. Oh, lasered by Tyrant!
Yeah.
And now Homeless are in the lead.
Nice little extra credits there for Tyrant. Rafiki, though, needs to be careful not to get caught. He's able to back away. Nice gadget use there. Ducky doesn't want to bite off more than he could chew. And now it's a matter with these last 15 seconds of Homeless just staying in the driver's seat. No supers right now for KDS. Sands back down to level 2. Here comes Bobby with a hypercharge popped. He's trying to get those rockets connected, but Rafiki's been able to avoid much of this damage. Jumping away now, super thrown out by Tyrant. Look how low Patchy is. A damage booster deployed, and there goes Sands down in a streaming heap. And Homeless start on their best foot.
Homeless's comp is able to do it all. They're able to get the blue star, they're able to defend it quite decently, and they're able to push into the enemy spawn to steal it back if the lead goes the way of KDS. Really well done by Homeless over here. I want to give a shout out to Rafiki for his capability to break things open as KDS were backed all the way up. No spam of shots over towards Rafiki this time. Bobby's just going to try and get his super off of Tyrant, and there's going to be more priority on the wall break from KDS this time, I anticipate. And they also switch Patchy over to the right side to deal with Rafiki. Curious, because that was Sands' responsibility in the last one.
Yeah. Sands thinking that working this left side might be more conducive to success, but so far none of those shots have been able to connect. The map's being broken up a little bit more, though, by Patchy. This means Ducky now is also playing out in the open. It is suffering as a result. Windwall gadget being used there by Ducky, and now the pinch from Sands almost did him in. Extra credits also threatened, though, to remove the surge, and Sands has to respect it.
Still Homeless in possession of this blue star. Who's going to be the first one to get a kill from KDS? They're just biding their time, slowly walking forward. They know that they can break these walls around Homeless's base. Rafiki taking a hit there. It's going to give Sands his super. Had a chance to jump in there, going to jump backwards actually. Fitting the shot out from Rafiki on the right side. Patchy cycled 2 supers forward. Everyone's definitely low. It's an opening for Rafiki to get a kill on the left side, and KDS still behind by 1 star.
Yeah, that was an even trade for both teams. It's a 1-star difference. Blue star for Homeless now. Rafiki with a gadget pop going after Sands. Happy to fight him, knocking Sands down to just over 1,000 HP. And Ducky has to do a lot of work to stay out of line of sight of many of these sharpshooter shots from Bobby, who's certainly known in the role.
Still slow, controlled for now, but it's about to amp up with only 20 seconds to go. KDS, they don't really have that great of tools to break this defense for Homeless. They do have this hypercharge for Patchy, and now Bobby has one of his own. That is going to be a massive tool. They're going to try and cut off Ducky if possible, and Sands needs to get out of there, but Ducky's able to escape. Now a hypercharge for Patchy. Ducky's still alive. Same for Tyrant on the back left. Nothing onto Rafiki.
How is he
no
alive?
damage onto Ducky. It's incredible. Homeless with a couple of kills to end things off. And just another time in a flash, they're able to take their own map selection. I'm just blown away.
You're absolutely kicking yourself. I think if you're KDS there, you had so many, I mean 2. Yeah, 2 very low health brawlers on the Homeless side of the map that you couldn't quite reach. There was a rocket rain even being thrown down right at the top of the map that wasn't able to get any stars back for KDS. And honestly, the mechanics on display here by Ducky and Rafiki, able to dodge, duck, dive, dip and dodge away from so many of these shots is extremely impressive.
Yeah, dodging the Surge anti-grip on the other side, honestly, that is impressive. Look. I thought we have a clear draft here on the side of KDS. We have
Unreal.
a really unsynergistic comp on the side of Homeless in my eyes with the 8-bits and then to Assassins. All that KDS has to do is not get too close to that turret to make sure that the Ellie and the Mina not also profit from the 8-bit turret. And Tyrant obviously here with the most kills. The man of the hour here for the side of Homeless. I'm a bit speechless, honestly. How did that happen?
Yeah, I was at a loss for words towards the end of that as well, because that was just unreal dodging from Ducky. Bobby was so close to landing that last bit of damage from the rocket rain on him. The execution really did hurt because there were plenty of opportunities for KDS to get in there, but it's like they were all red herrings. There was always someone waiting to snap them up if they got a little bit too aggressive. Especially Rafiki was such a deterrent anytime KDS even thought of approaching one of these bushes on defense.
We now have, again, Homeless winning their own map pick. KDS has to do the same to prolong this one. And just like Vatic, they need to go all the way to a set 5 to still keep their LCQ dreams alive.
And KDS have to bear Mortis again. They have to use a slot on that Brawler. I don't think they can afford to be going up against that. Outside of that, one of the most successful brawlers for this KDS team in recent times has been the Star Nova, but she's been global, so don't expect to see that. But a lot of the regular customers, Brock is going to be a priority here. Griff is banned out by both sides of the end. There's throwers as well who can mix in here. So Sirius has been taken away. Larry and Laurie is going to be an option. Finks still good on this map as a control brawler, just allowing you to have more of that time on the point, and conspicuously, there's no Grey ban.
This is very true. Gray Ems is taken out of the mix, but it's still possible. 8-bit is the first selection for Homeless. There are ways to get rid of this, though I don't think Brock is going to be as strong of a pick. He can break open a wall on the left side, get you some, more sharpshooter play. I see big potential for throwers, actually, to get rid of this. KDS might think about a Barry over here. It'll give them good sustain on the point. Should also be able to get rid of the 8-bit turret.
I mean, we're in hot zone. Could also be another Chessie pick here for
Stop
KDS.
with the
For KDS, it was actually their down.
Oh my God.
The qualifiers. I called it, but I didn't really want to call it. Honestly, I'm not happy to say that.
It is their Siren Song, and as with any Siren Song, it led to their near demise, actually. In the monthly qualifiers, they picked it a couple of times and nearly let the entire match spiral out of control. It is really here for the 8-bit. And, well, it didn't succeed in the 8-bit in the monthly qualifiers, so let's see if now is different.
Okay, so you can still try Jessie plus a thrower, right? Jessie plus thrower? Seems good? Okay. Good, bad things.
Finks is solid.
I mean, yeah, something to take down the 8-bit turret outside of just the Jessie turret. As we learned, 8-bit hypercharged turret actually takes out the Jessie turret before it dies itself.
And the
so
extra
I like the 8-bit better.
shots.
It's not even a real counter to the 8-bit, so I'm so surprised, but we are in North America and Jessie has been picked up very often in the qualifiers, exactly into this 8-bit. Has a miserable win rate, but hey, maybe it works out now for KDS. They need to win this one to still keep their post-season dreams alive. It could be the last set we ever see being played by Bobby and Patchy. Today, they could retire if they don't make it into the postseason.
It would be a total tragedy. Will it happen at the hands of a Grey comp?
Oh my God,
that's
even worse.
Can we just play Mortis here and be done with it? Right?
It's possible. It would be a strength of KDS. They're pretty good at this brawler. It's Grey plus Ashe.
Imagine, it's your last set that you have ever played in your career of Brawl Stars, and you play Jessie into a Grey comp.
Well, okay, so
there's play for Scrappy here.
Yeah, obviously. Okay, look, there's a delivery system here for this Ashe, right? We've also seen this comp sort of fall flat earlier tonight.
That's what I was thinking.
Where they ran into a Frank setup and basically got cleared by it pretty easily. So can open up the map here. I think the Frank is a really heads-up pick, and there's not a natural answer to that here at all on the side of Homeless.
Yeah, I love the Frank into Ashe. I also like it into Grey comps because you can just stun them right out of the teleport. Is it going to be enough, though, for KDS to prolong this one, keep their postseason dream alive? and shut down Homeless that have beaten them before in qualifiers. Never in a monthly final though. Today can't be the day where we have to say goodbye to these two players.
I mean, I hope not. I hope to see them hang around a little bit longer. I also hope to see them unretire as well, because that's a thing that happens, right? I just want to put that out into the universe. Here comes Rafiki, though. He's going to have the lane matchup against Patchy. It will be Ash versus Frank, and it is hellish for the Ash.
But what's going to happen once Ducky has this TP set up, because he got it really quickly. It takes 4 shots. He landed every single one off the beginning of the game. The initial wall break for Patchy on the right side. Not even going to think about using it for a stun. By the way, that's a hypercharge for Gray already. It's an extremely early hypercharge Gray TP forward, and it's going to be very useful for this Ash. But Tyron on the right side, in tune with the team's name, is looking pretty homeless. He doesn't have a great spot to put his turret, and he hasn't been offered one yet.
Yeah, I mean, also just the whole touching the point part of the gameplay is eluding Homeless at the moment. Ducky has the TP setup, which is great, but you've got a cycle brawler presence onto it. Here's Rafiki. Finally, we're actually seeing this, TP used as it should be, but Patchy's already there to deter Rafiki straight away. The Frank's got to go. Finally, Homeless can start to play the game.
Do they get spawn trapped is really the big question. Sans should be able to help them with this time warp on the left side. Delays the rats coming down on the right. Patchy clears in it nice and easily with the super over to the right. He's not going to get Rafiki, but the hypercharge is out from Bobby now. Double slow. Tyrant and Rafiki both at risk of going down. A really aggressive turret there from 8-Bit allows Rafiki to get one and then circle forward for Patchy. But KDS have the clock on their side. They have plenty of time just to get 14%, and they have health as well in the form of Patchy.
Yeah, Ducky's farming damage though off this Frank and is able to build up yet another hypercharge now. Start to play forward a bit more aggressively. Scrappy's going to be deployed but cleared pretty quickly. He was able to slow Ducky down with that Jesse gadget, and now with the Finks hyper, you gotta be touching. It is tough for Homeless now to be forced away. Sans able to make great use of that hypercharge. Rafiki stepped up, but KDS have done enough. Really nice Frank pick there to round out the draft. Sans to be credited for that one, I'm sure. And KDS looked very good in that round.
Yeah, something that Bobby said is that they've been having Sans draft. They're trying to set him up for the best possible future in Brawl Stars after they retire. Their season might still be alive. It's going to be a tough journey. They're down a couple of sets right now. They need to win in set number 5 to finish it off. And the Frank pick has been really nice. They opt to run Patchy on the right side, possibly trying to predict that Rafiki would go on the right so as not to face the Frank early on. Instead, it's going to give Ducky a pretty early super.
Okay, wall open up here. Ducky getting a lot of these shots, able to make that TP play forward. Patchy also low. Finally, Rafiki gets to tentatively come forward into the map. Bobby's forced off the sight line, but Patchy getting some nice little damage around the wall there. Rafiki sees a chance to go after the Frank, but gives up his life for it. Homeless elsewhere doing pretty well in their other matchups, but Ducky is stuck in the middle of the Finks field and has to play at point blank. Bobby able to find the reload speed just quickly enough. Homeless have a slim lead, but that might be about to dwindle.
KDS had their hypercharge. Patchy on the right side, going to eat all of those shots from 8-Bit. And the hypercharge turret is forward. It's going to be troublesome for Homeless to deal with. For Tyrant, he has to dedicate a bunch of ammunition to it. Rafiki is at risk of going down. Patchy's going to look for a great pinch between him and Bobby. And on the right side, the boosted booster has been placed down. Tyrant with a hypercharge out will suppress Bobby on the left. And this is an equal scoreline headed into the middle of the game.
All right, it's getting messy. A little help is going to be thrown out, though, to give Homeless a slim lead. Ducky with another super, so can turn up in an unexpected location, maybe to pressure Bobby down. Scrappy will get the slow into Rafiki, but there's no way to capitalize outside of the big old super there from Patchy, which catches onto the Ash and forces Homeless away. But they're happy to concede the point for a time. Ducky, hype is forward. What's the plan supposed to be? Is he going to dive on Bobby in the backline? No, in fact, just sets up for Ash to return to the fray yet again. And Rafiki triumphantly deals with the Frank. And now there's a slight issue of this Jesse and Finks setup with hypercharges on the point.
Rafiki has a big responsibility. He needs to win a 1v2 right now. He's going to have another one joining the fray, Ducky, but he goes right on to Patchy, where he's deleted in close range. The final TP for it needs to be a stun. Tyrant's going to be eliminated.
No
and
way.
It's a slim lead for KDS.
No
They will barely survive by only 3%. It's on to set number 5. KDS fighting for their lives. They just have to make it to semifinals. But they're going to have to do it the same way that they nearly faltered in the upper bracket in the monthly qualifiers that led up to this. They lost 2 sets in a row. They went into set number 4 down, and they had to sort of reverse the match back.
They just wouldn't be KDS if this game wasn't going to the wire. These guys always need to make it emotional. We're heading to a 5th set, and honestly, the draft here is really nice. The Jessie is, look, honestly, to me, neither here nor there. A couple like Scrappies that were a little bit difficult to deal with, but honestly, the pressure of the Finks cycling so many supers and some really heads-up Frank play here from Patchy, including just solid drafting from KDS, gives them a well-earned, legitimately earned map win.
We weren't too happy with the Jessie picks in the qualifier. Really close 3-2 in the end against Legacy in the qualifier, leading up to this monthly final. I think what made the difference here was that Frank pick at last. Really good into the Great Comp. Jessie in the end shines in both the DPS and the kill department, though. I guess KDS, you proved to us that Jessie might just actually be, let's say, decent in the current meta. I still don't want to give it to her.
Well, you know what they say, Bobby? The toughest soldiers get the hardest battles.
Yeah. Well, he came out victorious on that Jessie specifically. It might have been a bit of a, I don't know, like a bait over there because they failed so publicly to execute on the Jessie in the monthly qualifiers. And then over here, it's like they're being tempted with the 8-bit first selection. Please go Jessie. They do. They also ran it on Out in the Open. It did not do so well there. This is one of the maps that they lost. Is this another Jessie map into 8-bit?
In the end, both of these teams have won their own map picks. This is now a random map, so it just comes down to whoever has prepared every single map. And we see from our stats that KDS has done a bit more prep into the map. Let's see if that also means they're gonna win it. We have a Bolt band here on the right-hand side, a lot of aggression band out here. Mina as well as the Jaeyoung out of the picking. Here we have Brock band as well, so Brawler 2, we don't have anything really anymore to open up the map. They're gonna go with the Meatball here, just a little bit of range. I don't mind it here. Both gadgets can come in super handy on the left now. I would love to see. Now, if this is, I said it before, if the other one was the last map we ever see Bobby and Patchy play, it would have been a Jessie, which I would have hated. I want to see Bobby one last time on Piper.
Yeah, on his signature pick.
How poetic.
Pretty reasonable, actually, on this map. They don't have the ability to go for the Meg here, which has been a really popular choice for KDS here. And the Charlie, we saw it earlier on, looks very good. A connected Cocoon, especially on an opponent that's a little out of position, basically guarantees the round. There aren't too many supers that win the round on their own. I think Cocoon can certainly do that. You've also seen a single-shot brawler, so you know that the Meeple's going to struggle to maintain any ground against Spiderlings. And this makes Homeless think about whether or not they can afford to draft more single-shot brawlers, like Angelo, for example, who doesn't really like dealing with that kind of thing at all.
I was thinking Jean has really good spray and making sure that you can always see your opponents in the bushes, especially if they have nothing to break open the map. To actually get into the map quicker is definitely an advantage. Jean is one of a very often banned brawler for that reason on this map.
Yep, he's going to give you good vision. I'm still fixated on this Meeple first selection because a lot of times out in the open, something like Angelo would be prioritized. You're able to float over the water quite easily. It's going to be more difficult to get into mid with some of these options out of the way, like Mina can't be considered. Jaeyoung is going to get you up. Now taken by the enemy side is the Piper, looking to diff the sniper battle. I'm just looking at this Meeple because it seems to indicate that they do want the option to play something aggro, and KDS have to respond with this Charlie to account for that possibility.
Can KDS not just play Angelo now themselves, though?
It's possible. They can. They totally can. Do they want to into this final pick from Homeless is going to be the question answered in just a few seconds.
Oh, okay, what could it be? They, could opt for something.
The awesomeness.
Okay.
Triple range here for the side of Homeless. I don't mind it. Again, we have nothing really to break open the map now. The Piper can, of course, once she has that super developed. I don't mind the comp on the right-hand side. They're just a bit wide open for anything aggressive now on the side of KDS. They still have one last pick. Are they gonna opt for something with a bit more punch here as their last pick, or are they gonna play it safe, pick something like a Meg or something to benefit of that Jean heal? Nani. Another long-range brawler, and pretty good into the single-shot brawlers on the other side, I'd say, thanks to return to sender gadget.
Yeah, good in that Piper 1v1 because she's going to come in with a homemade recipe to try and two-tap you. You're able to reflect that and even get a kill on her as a result. So it should be pretty good in these sniper matchups. The 1v1, you're able to fire shots around the barrel as well. It's going to be utilized a lot by the enemy team to position their snipers behind it. And Gene is going to be the spotter. He's going to get the vision on the snipers so that Nanny can line up those shots.
I wonder if this isn't a bit of a greedy drafting here from Homeless. I think they've sort of hedged themselves into this Nani matchup now. It's going to be Bobby on the Nani, Sans on this Charlie. Now, you're going to be outranged a lot of the time, but you can use these Spylings to get close enough to potentially fire off one of those cocoons. These are all single-shot brawlers, so Sans will find those windows to be able to get forward. Just got to be careful not to get tapped down like that.
All of KDS is going to be playing around those cooldowns. So far, it's been tough for them to gain any position since they didn't play anything aggro. Meeple doesn't have to take Rage Quit. He can just go for box and break open the bushes. Rafiki going to go for the punish on Sans. Vengeful Spirits out on the right side, by the way, from Patchy to get some additional damage. Hopefully they're able to pressure the enemy team out of their spawn. Once more, the box down splits off. Sans, he's not really able to make an impact now. All of KDS has been pigeonholed into this back right side, and they haven't really earned their supers that they need to win around.
And honestly, one of the effects of that mansions, it was the grass break. So now Sans and Patchy revealed as they try and move into the map properly. Rafiki's got a super, but Tyrant doesn't have a chance to heal here. He might just get tapped down. He might just go straight into the gas. Ducky's able to dive down, and that is a pretty timely super. I'm not gonna... Oh! Sans with 148 health wins the duel anyway, with an increased fire rate at close ranges. What a come from nowhere victory.
KDS went from being turtle up into their own spawn to now being able to make a real shot at it. Perfect timing on the Nanny super to come in after that first round, and what a clutch from Sans to finish things off. No one has a way of disturbing Sans on the left side. They're going to go for the pinch, and Sans knew it. He saw it coming from a mile away, but do they have the ammunition to line up this final shot? Yes. Ducky immediately deleted. It's a 3v2 now, and KDS have a massive advantage.
Yeah, I mean, Tyrant and Rafiki have the map, but what are they supposed to do with it here? Spiderlings are going to get KDS back in after they fell away to heal up, and that is a very cut and dry match.
So many times, Homeless, this team that Tyrant has commanded, have gone to double match point against top teams in the region, and they just can't finish the job there. Set number 5 is where they most often falter. Here they would be the gatekeepers for KDS towards the postseason. They did a good job of denying the Nanny supers in the early game on the last round. Do we see a difference in the approach? Yes, they actually put Sans on the left lane instead of the right. He seemed to be getting some aggression over there in the last game. So far, much better for KDS as they're able to pressure back Tyrant in the early game and wrap Sans around the left.
Ooh, I like the comp from KDS, I'm not going to lie. I really dislike this Angelo Piper double look from Homeless. Hasn't paid out for them so far. They're going to give some ground, but again, Spiderlings can always get you back into the match should you need to use them. Mansions of Meeple. Patchy in a bit of a weird spot, and a Magic Hand is maybe not well apportioned for that scenario, but still plenty of firepower for KDS.
Completely worth the pull there for Patchy. They're able to finish this round off painlessly, and they have the Nanny ahead to get in the left side so Sans can get into position much earlier on. But a well-aimed shot from Rafiki anticipates that exact wall break. He's also running ambush to get 2 taps. He wants additional damage. Homemade recipe is not going to be enough to shut down Bobby, and they just kind of plug the hole on the left side, taking the opportunity to gadget forward and to get into that same cozy position they were in game 1.
Slow and steady for KDS. No need to over-aggress into the middle of the map, especially not at a cost of taking a large amount of damage. That shot from Tyrant's going to definitely put the fear of God in Patchy, who backs away, but the homemade recipe was outranged by the Gene, and a Piper super just to avoid the shot from Nani.
Still waiting to see utility from either side. Tyrant knows that he has survivability in the end. As he pops his super, he'll be able to heal up. Has a respectable matchup against Bobby. Has this hypercharge too. Got to spring into action immediately onto Patchy. It's going to be difficult to deal with. Singing Flight over to the left side, and Patchy backs into the poison. On the left side, Sans full box. It's an easy kill for Ducky. Did he really need to commit that hard on it? You still got one more to win. Bobby trying to put on the performance of a lifetime, but it's just not going to happen. Ducks into the poison one more round. Another chance for KDS to finish the match here.
Interesting, yeah, choice to go for the super there, but again, I mean, the map's already kind of opened up anyway. Ducky's not going to have a use case for it until he gets another Mansions of Meeple down, by which time he might have another super developed anyway. Here's that Mansions. But again, without super, Sans is big chilling. Nothing can really be done about that. Ducky gets a parting shot and now gives up even more of the map. Tyrant can always get back in, traverse that waterway, but Bobby is threatening, and you certainly don't want to run into that return to center gadget as Tyrant prepares another arrow.
And he's just threatening to get around the wall on the right side. Bobby actually backs up as a result and gets a return to sender. Cheeky on Tyrant. But still, KDS, they're just going to pressure here as long as they can. Pretty much stay pressed up against the wall, get some super if they can. Homeless, they're getting a little bit feverish. They need a breakout now for their tournament lives.
Okay, there's Tyrant. Big hit on Bobby. Didn't have return to center available. Now super thrown down, but the pull is good. He's dragged out of his own healing field. And that's going to be it. Sand flashes the pin as KDS realize the stories of Bobby and the story of Patchy are far from done. Another chapter still to be written as KDS advance.
KDS are still alive. Vatic, the ball's back in your court, and it's not going to be any easier than your quarterfinal where you already went to set number 5. They've got to take down Team Electros, an unreal matchup in our first semifinal in order to take the place of KDS at the last chance qualifier, and even then, it would only be temporary, as KDS can still control their own fate with the second semifinal.
I mean, all they have to do, right, is to tie or outplace Vatic. That is looking more and more likely now. It would take Vatic winning in their semi and KDS losing in order for Vatic to get past them. It is hard to see that happening. In terms of probability, the raw stats, odds are looking good that we'll see KDS at LCQ.
12 points is all that separates KDS and Vatic once again. And as you already stated, they only need an equal spot at the end of the day. So Vatic has already put it right. The ball's in their corner now. We have our top 4 for this last monthly final for NA, but also the entire summer split. Homeless played really, really well. And just like Legacy, they take this team that is so hungry for an LCQ ticket to the final set. Where in this one, I think we kind of saw it coming. A really juicy comp here for the side of KDS. There was not much that Homeless could do to win this one.
Yeah, it was basically the Charlie that was their undoing because they're playing a bunch of single target brawlers, and Sands is able to push them in pretty much a trivial fashion. He has 3 spiders. It's going to take 3 ammunition from a smattering of brawlers on the opposing side to deal with it. And every single time he was on the left lane, he pretty much walked forward. There was so much pressure radiating off of this guy. And then it came down to Bobby to finish off the job. Patchy also to establish a radius of pressure around him with the possession of the pull. But it was the Charlie and the Nanny that stood out to me more than anything else in the last match.
Yeah, and they played that one perfectly, picking up the Gene first. That would have been a really good answer into Nanny and the Charlie, both really good counters to the 3 snipers on the other side. Spoo, we get you back. We now have both of the teams that are still in LCQ contention in the top 4, and also both of the teams that are still fighting for that #1 seed in the top 4. Those teams that have still something to fight for really won it today. I'm not too surprised to see them all standing here.
Our 4 main characters from North America. Keep it alive and keep it spicy for the viewers at home. Every single match from this point outwards is going to carry some kind of stake here. If Vatic beat Electros next, that's going to be a chance for Tribe to take that seed #1. If LCQ is lost there from KDS and Vatic win, then that's going to be Vatic going to LCQ. I mean, so many permutations.
Every match could have been KDS lost today, as both Patchy and Bobby have announced to retire at the end of the year. So let's listen in into those final moments in Set 5.
Just don't get tapped, Bobby.
Yeah.
You're good, you're good. I'm covering mid. They literally don't know what to do. They're waiting for a box, okay?
Okay. I'm gonna push out on me here.
Got him?
Nice.
You got one? Yes, sir.
Nice. Holy fuck. Nice, bro. Holy fucking shit, bro.
You see Sands and Bobby very relieved, and then Patchy's just like, there's the jersey, you can still get it. Really, really well played, guys. You move on into the top 4, and with that, they now again hold the LCQ spot for a top 4. Let's see what the casters believe will make it through and to the grand finals of this August monthly final. We all 3 say we keep the dream alive here for Vatic. Nobody's going for KDS here. What's that about?
Is it for the plot, really? I think
not for, well, for Vatic, it's for the plot. On paper, Team Electros are absolutely supposed to win this. This is supposed to be the end of Vatic's season and semifinal number 1. But we're all in agreement for this match with Tribe. They've just looked consistently better than KDS. And KDS, I think that, not to call them short-sighted, but they're really fixated on just this first quarterfinal. In theory, it's all that they need to win, as long as Team Electros actually is a lock.
I think it is really just a head versus heart decision in both of these semi-finals. As you put it, the 4 main characters playing in our semis. For the first one, we have Team Electros versus Vatic, the current number 1 seed, versus the team that is currently 12 points behind the LCQ tickets. Team Electros, by the way, also only 12 points ahead of Tribe, so this is the golden number of the evening.
12 points, indicating 1 placement ahead is all that will change the equation. And what a storyline it could be for either way. I mean, if Team Electros meet Tribe Gaming in that grand final, whoever wins will take that seed number 1. If we have KDS up against Vatic in the grand final, which is completely possible, whoever wins that goes to the last chance qualifier. I mean, either way, I'm just here for the plot.
I voted for Vatic in that first semi-final because I believe third time's the charm. And we had this topic earlier as well. I just want to see them finally break through. And again, it wouldn't be the first time where we see a Team Electro surprisingly lose if the other team just really wants it. And Vatic need to win now that KDS have made it through to the semis to still get LCQ.
Not to throw anyone under the bus here, but I just want to point out it was never a 3-0 for Team Electros. You know who has gotten 3-0'd by Team Electros in the grand finals? We saw it literally last month. Tribe Gaming got 3-0'd. The second place in the entire region in that 1 monthly final was not able to get further than Vatic. This is a very good team that absolutely can get into the top 3. It just came down to brackets and overall performance. They didn't make it to Brawl Cup. Those points have not gone in their favor.
By the way, in Vatic's case, of course, it's 4th time the charm now against the Team Electros. Let's see, finally get a win under the belt. And as you already put it, they took them twice to set 5 already. They were just 1 set or 1 game away to turn things around. Goldam Gulch is going to be our first map in this one, so we haven't seen that map before from them. Ring of Fire, Safe Zone, Crystal Arcade, and then Triple Dribble as our
GG's,
random
good night.
deciders.
Thank you for
Who is
watching.
shaking his
Hope
head?
you can end the stream right here.
It's spicy. Whenever you see